And we are live and we are back.
Let's go.
I'm Cory.
I'm Jordan.
And it's the Cordan Full Effect podcast, and we are back.
Like we never left.
We are back like we never left. Episode
58.
Episode 58. Like, now here's the thing. Now shout out to all the technology. I got the YouTube playing in the background to make sure we can they can hear us. And I'm wondering why I'm hearing both of us again. It's so much damn technology out here nowadays. So just don't worry about that. Regardless. Because I'm like, why are you talking again? I thought I had an echo. Episode 58, like Jack Lambert. Jordan, please let us know if you know who Jack Lambert is.
Hold, please.
Oh, Jordan, no. See, you can't talk about it. You only know the NFL stuff. You're going to be so mad when you see who it is. You're going to be so mad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jack Lambert, greatest linebacker. Yeah. Greatest linebacker. Played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Games played 146. Was averaging 22.5 sacks per season. Tackles. Yeah, he was okay. He was like that. Yeah.
He was the middle linebacker for the Steelers when they won 4 Super Bowls. So when they talk about the best defense ever, he's the middle. I think that Steelers defense got. I'm not going to ruin it because the next player as a tip off is for episode 59 is going to be another Pittsburgh Steelers 70s linebacker who I guess you're not going to know. If you didn't know Jack Lambert, you're probably not going to know him. But you got him, you got the other guy, you got Mean Joe Green, you got Mel Blount, you got a couple of Hall of Famers on that defense. So yes, this is arguably the best defense ever, or just for a period of time history of sports, is their middle linebacker. He was rookie of the year and defensive player of the year, and on the 75th all anniversary team.
I wasn't alive yet. I mean,
now
look at that.
And see, here we go.
I'm doing what I can, but I wasn't alive yet.
And you're like
from the 70s, like
you're like me when I cover for myself. Well, you used to be like you say you know this, but then you're like, okay, well, there's a reason I don't know it. You always say you didn't watch it. Yeah, I know all this type of stuff. Then it's something I don't know. Well, there's a reason I don't know that. As you say, you didn't watch ESPN and all that stuff growing up. So you're right. That's your caveat or your pass. Be like, well, that's why I don't know this. But yeah, it's
I do feel bad though. Linebacker. I was like,
you don't.
Probably shouldn't.
Yeah, also too.
Yeah.
But you know who Dick Buckus is, and he played after Dick Buckus. See, now you can take out hold of L. No. I only know Dick Buckus and Ray Lewis.
Listen, selective recognition. Look at this.
Yeah, I'm gonna say very selective. Oh my goodness! Have you ever seen the highlights of like the the 70s or even the Steelers in the 70s? There's a linebacker with no teeth. That's Jack. If you've ever have a recollection of that, that's Jack Lambert. He ain't got no teeth. He has no teeth.
Got it.
He'd have no middle teeth. But all right, that's Jack Lambert. We're on episode. This is episode I think 96 in total with these and the Waffle Wednesdays. What episode is this? 58. Waffle Wednesdays is probably like in the upper 20s. Yeah. So we almost had our episode 100 in total. We're not gonna do anything special for it. Don't worry about it. So I'm just like we have nothing prepared, and we wouldn't probably like we're gonna have a fire episode. That's but other than that, we're not gonna have no banners or balloons and crap. None of that. But we appreciate the support all the way to 100.
A couple of those, you know what I mean? But that's all I got for you.
We got the soundboard. We have the soundboard. Oh my goodness. But all right. Next up, Jordan.
Oh. My bad.
No, you got it.
We talk about health and
wealth.
Or fitness and
finances.
And everything in between.
And we want to make sure you save more and say less.
And keep making better your best.
Yes. However, this is for entertainment purposes only. Don't sue us, sue your mama. Any research you hear, you need to do your own research. Any information that you hear from the fitness side or the finance side, we are not liable for. You need to do your own research and speak with a professional. Don't worry about where the legal actual thing we're supposed to read is. It'll show up one day. And I promise you the day it shows up, it will be, it'll show up continuously after that. But once what we should do is go back and watch that episode where we actually read it, and then we just take the notes. But that makes too much sense. Or we can just put the email that we got too. But that makes too much.
Listen, just know, don't act up with us because we do got something that's legal in writing somewhere.
Somewhere
in one of these episodes. All right.
And I'll make sure we definitely say for any of these episodes, previous or previous or prior, it's the same thing. Previous
or future. Previous, current, or future, past, present, or future. All right.
Yeah. This episode, the last episode, the one before that, the one after this. And also, I was gonna say, as I talked about on Wolf Wednesday, that was gonna be the last episode where y'all see me. I got the dual view. Brother Jordan has been gracious. And the camera is here. I would show y'all the camera, but I can't show y'all the camera. But the old camera is right here. Now, not only do I have the internet on my computer, I got internet on my phone. So look, y'all gonna come up here. I can Google twice now. So just make sure if you access that live stream, we ask you to pull up your Mint. Just make sure you're all good to go. But now we what's the next thing? Yep.
For our not even just our first time listeners, for anybody listening, please make sure you like, share, subscribe. Okay, we need all of that. Like, share, subscribe, put us in your group chat. We want all the smoke. Share us with your friends. Okay, we are available on all major podcasting platforms, including what, Corey? I'll be watching this up. But
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon, Anchor. I don't know how recently on Anchor, YouTube. If you're not, whatever you're listening to, just watch that one.
Exactly. If you already listen to podcasts somewhere, type in Cordan Full Effect, and I bet you we pop up. All right. Yes. If you don't, let us know, and we'll see what we gotta do to get there. All right.
Yes, and we appreciate the YouTube views. They're continuously going up. So shout out to the engagement. Shout out to y'all doing everything but leaving the comments. To start leaving the comments. Okay, that's the next step. That's the next step. The views and the likes is going up, and all that other different type of analytics. Now we need the comments to come with that. So what they're supposed to say, if you guys, we say something, how do you feel about being on a budget? Leave a comment. Just leave the comment.
Watch the episode, leave the comment. That's
leave the comment. Shout out to China. China left the comment about me talking about Ludacris, which I wanted to bring up. You have any error cleanup?
Nah, not specifically. Okay. But unless we're gonna talk about Ludacris.
Yeah, so you got any I guess I got the error cleanup, right?
Yeah. Put some respect on that man's name.
Okay. I can't recall. Did you say he was top 10 or top 25?
No, we said he was top 10, I believe. Or no, we said he was top 20, if I remember correct. We were
top 20. Okay, I could. Yeah, that's what I couldn't remember. I couldn't.
We were talking about we can't name 19 other rappers better than Ludacris, and I think that's where it came. That's where the disagreement came, because you were like, he's definitely not top 10, and I was like, well, he did a lot. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's done a lot, but he hasn't done a lot. Does that make sense? It's kind of like one of those things where it's like he's definitely not top 5. You know what I'm trying to say? But like he's definitely in the top 20 without question.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
And that's why I could remember if we had said he was top. If not by we, I mean you had said it right, and I gave pushback. I can't remember if you said he was top 10. As long as you didn't say he was top 10, he's definitely not top 10. But I'll give you top 20. I think I might have voted on top 20, top 25. I might have voted on that.
You were like, you were like, he's not top 20. I was like, come on now. I was like,
he might be top. He might be top 20. He might be top 20. Depending on who you talk to.
I think I mentioned this before. The only rapper to win, what was it, the freestyle joint on the basement twice. The only one. I know that's not like an official judging, platform, whatever, right? But the basement was, for those who are, in their 30s, you know what I mean, or approaching their 30s, y'all know what the basement is, with Big Ticket. All right, and he was the only one that. What was the? I forgot the official name of the competition, but
but put it like this: did Wayne go on there twice? Because Wayne got one. Wayne got one on there. That's crazy.
Even listening to, so Tigger at one point had ranked, I think his top 5 freestyles of all time, and Wayne wasn't even one on that. Now he was fired. I think he was like 3. But I mean, I don't know. He also had DMX as number 1. So I don't. Yeah, we gotta.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when you start watching, people in that industry. I know some people got DMS in their top 10. So I'm like, are you sure? Because and it's like you rank DMX where you want to, but I know people that put DMS in their top 10. It's like, dang. Like that,
now we gotta have staples on category of what
you gotta have, and that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, this is what happened with the NBA now. It's like you start running out of, I don't know if people know, but after 9 is 10, and after 10 is 11, and so you can't name. I think a lot of people get confused. I saw it with Steph Curry top 10. It's like you can only name 10 people, and like all you have to do is before Curry, LeBron, KD, Kobe, all them show up. Who was the top 10 going into the year 2000? Like, there's no Tim Duncan, there's no Shaq, there's no Kobe, there's like none of them is on it. And like now that 20 years have gone by, some of them is now on the list. Like, who you got to kick somebody out, and then like you can't keep kicking people out because some people ensure like they can't be out the top 10. So then you run out of numbers.
I think we just agreed that there's 20 people in the top 10 for NBA all time. All right,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's 20. We got to put 20 people in the top 10. And that's why I call it the Hall of Fame and the Hall of Fame, where you start like the Jordan LeBron conversations made it seem like fine, you ain't gotta say he's number one, cool. But then some people like barely got him in the top 10. I'm like, okay, now you're sullying. It's like, wait a minute, now you're trying to be like, and then some people don't even have now you're talking about like positions, and we're gonna switch off, y'all. We don't get to finance fitness, but like, if you think Jordan, you think LeBron's better than Bird, then by definition on your top 10, he got to be above Bird if you're ranking him, right? But I got some people I've seen is like they got LeBron behind Bird. I'm like, wait, LeBron not the best small forward all time? Now we really got to have a conversation.
Yeah,
I'm like, wait, look, and it's like,
right? For me, you definitely got 1-2 combo. You know what I'm saying? Like if we talk about MJ and LeBron, right? If one is not one, then by definition they are two. Like you're trying to say, so you got to start counting at 3 for everybody else, which then only leaves you 7 spots to rank several other people who are viciously awesome. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and that's the logic behind it. If I'm consideration for being the best ever, then like I can't fall but so low behind one. That's just because if you think I'm 10 out of I'm 10th out of top 10, then you don't think I'm number one. But if you think I might be number one, and I'm like 2 or I'm 3 at worst, because who the other person in this conversation, and that's what I'll be talking about with the logic. We on the same wavelength with that. But that's the logic. I'll be like, why don't nobody say that? If we arguing about if Jordan better than LeBron can't be 8 or 9 on your list. Why are you arguing for first? So that's why I'd be like, people be running out of stuff. Because now we got Luka over here whooping people ass. I know people upset, but Luka, so he started winning some rings MVP. Is gonna be an issue because Steph showed him like, look, I shoot better than everybody in here. So, and you can't say I can't score well. So now you're talking about defense, but it's like Steph the only unanimous MVP, by the way. He got some stuff Jordan on got. And it's like, where do you start putting these people?
Yeah.
It's bad. So all right, that's it for that. This is not the sports podcast. My friend said we should start one of these things, but
listen, we might just have to have a section for it. You know what I mean? We just sports talk. Like,
wait, speaking of sports, because 2 weeks ago was Super Bowl. Yeah. All right, what was your Super Bowl pick? You almost skated. You almost skated. I almost forgot.
Look. Oh, to the next section. No.
Air clean up.
All right. Yes, I said that the Eagles were going to win. Unfortunately, they got cooked. So it was actually a good game. I would say they didn't even get cooked. It was exactly what I wanted for a Super Bowl game. Mahomes did.
Besides that last call. That's what we should talk about instead of
that was kind of like you can't. So okay, my whole issue with that type of stuff, right? You can't let people play 95% of the game, literally 3.99.
Yeah, the game over.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was within the last 2 minutes and not call these.
Yeah, it was 2-minute warning. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, and not make these calls, right? These calls weren't present all game, and then you get. And it was, little cheeky hole. I think it was within 5 yards. So I was like, okay, like you know what I'm saying. Like, and was it really gonna make an impact? I guess what I'm saying is, let them play. You know what I'm saying? I don't want the ref to determine the output of the game, especially within the last 2 minutes of the biggest game of the year, literally for the season, right? Like
of all the sports, it's the biggest game out of all the sports that we play on Earth. Besides the Coliseum, this is the biggest event. Besides the Olympics, this is the biggest one.
Because it's one of those things, like a call like that, literally, like, I mean, it's, people were calling them, like, the game is over. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Any type of call like that, within 2 minutes of the game, all you got to do is run a clock out. If they ain't got no timeouts, and people aren't aware, for people who don't know how clock management and good coaching works, you know what I mean? A call like that within 2 minutes of the game is over, right? The opposing team doesn't have any timeouts. Mm-hmm. So even if they do, you pretty much got to run a clock out, just get a first down, and the game is over. You know what I'm saying? So it makes it significantly easier for you to win at that point.
Right.
And, it's like, they've been playing good ball all game. Let them play, let the rest stay out of it.
It's one of those things now with pass interference, holding, and like what a possession is. I don't know. Like I don't watch it as much anymore, but like I don't know what it is now. Like whatever they rule, I guess that because it used to be pass interference. Like what is pass interference? Then they changed it and they added in holding, where holding means the ball has not been thrown yet. So by definition, a pass has not occurred, so it can't be pass interference. Like that's a very clear distinction. So it wasn't pass interference; it was holding his hand and throwing the ball yet. But then it's like you said, like it within 5 yards. Like I don't know. Like I don't know what the rule is. Like so
we can look it up, but I thought it was so to my recollection, right? I thought you're allowed to make contact with the receiver within 5 yards, even if it is, and most of the time, even if it is like a hold like that, they usually let it go. You know what I mean? Right. As long as you're not holding them past. You know what I mean? Like, like, first of all, it's blatant and obvious. And if it's not within, like, if it doesn't start within 5 yards and then extend past the 5 yards, right? Usually you're good to go. to me, looking at that play, I don't think he was going to make a difference anyway. Like, you know what I mean? I think
Right.
what didn't the ball almost end up being uncatchable?
Yeah, that's the thing. Uncatchable only comes into play with pass interference. You can't remember holding means the ball hasn't been thrown yet, so it doesn't matter if it's uncatchable. And that's one of the great things about that clear distinction. Uncatchable is only pass interference. The ball has not been thrown, and we call it holding, so there is no uncatchable because the ball I can't catch something that hasn't been thrown yet by definition, right? And so that's where that language comes into play. But it's the Catholics versus convicts situation. I know you said you haven't watched ESPN, but when Jimmy Johnson was in Miami, like with Michael Irvin and all that type of stuff, that's when they were playing a lot of big games against Notre Dame. And that's when you hear the phrase when you're talking about don't leave the game in the ref's hands. That's what Jimmy Johnson has said. I don't know if he's the first person, but that's in that documentary. And he literally says, don't leave the game in the ref's hands. And guess what happened? They left the game in the ref's hands and they lost the game. And so that's where that scenario comes into play. And that's why you say that. Don't leave it up to the refs. Like, that's how it is. And also, too, because I did pick the Chiefs. And I'm also a Chargers fan, so it's bittersweet. But as a football player, if you have the most turnovers in the game and you have the least amount of rushing yards and you have the most penalties, you're not going to win. And that's what the Eagles did. Like, Jalen Hurts played a great game outside of the one significantly large mistake he made.
Yeah.
He made, and I know, but I heard nobody talk about that. Did we miss the fact that he had a fumble? He fumbled and they recovered for a touchdown?
And that's the difference, right? It was only three. Was it 3 points? 2 points. 3 points. 3 point difference. It was a 3 point difference for the final score.
Yeah.
Either way, it was under 6. Let's put it that way. So I mean, that's like you said, that is the game. So
Eagles defense did play like trash, but you can't. He turned it. And in football game, if you don't win a turnover battle, you can't expect to win. If you don't win a turnover battle or the penalty battle, you can't expect to win. How we had the most turnovers and we had more penalties? That's that's football 101. That's day one. We turn it over more than that, we're not gonna win. And that's the part where it's like, yeah, we know about the penalty, but
it's on paper. I mean, so it's not like it was like a huge upset, right? Like on paper, you lost. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it adds up. But I just don't like. You know what I'm saying? I don't like the ref. You know what I'm saying? I don't like the ref deciding it.
It's bad when you got to slow it down. Like we can't see it real time. Everybody's like, what happened? Yeah. And you got to slow it down, find the angle. And it's like, this not the angle the ref had. This not the angle that the ref had to call the flag.
My man was on the other side.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's the inside like back angle, right? And the ref's over here, and you can see the penalty behind my back. It's like that's not the angle he had.
What are you throwing your flag for, sir?
Yeah, I think in that scenario, the transition, that's when like they should literally just have the league, and everybody's watching the game, by the way, Super Bowl. But that's when you should, whoever the head of officiating is, they should just make the decision. We would not care in the Super Bowl under 2 minutes. Just make that call. If you just tell us what the actual call is, don't be like let the refs make the judgment call. We don't supersede them. No, make the right call. You the head official out of all the officials, and so we can move on with it, and then we can be mad the right way versus this one person.
Because I don't know if it would have made an impact on the game. Well, let me put it.
They would have had the Eagles would have had more time. They could have had a chance to go down and tie it up at least. They would have had significantly more time.
Yeah,
because that was third down. That was third down. So they would have to get the field goal, and also too, it wouldn't have been a chip shot.
Gotcha.
And he already missed one. I think he already missed one in the game.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess it could. Okay, yeah.
As an Eagles fan, they go. Somebody will come to the street right now. No, we definitely could have won that game. Yeah. So.
Percentage impact is significantly increased when you start bringing up those factors. It's like, you know what I'm saying? They fumbled the bag. It's all good. It's all good. I think it'll be a renewed sense of vigor for Jalen Hurts next season. I think he's gonna come back with some. You got to come back.
Might be like the Spurs.
Yeah.
When the Spurs lost to the Heat, that one time they come back and beat them. So it might run it back because I'm picking next year again. I'm picking Patrick Mahomes till he retires or a significant decrease in his gameplay. I got the Chiefs right now until he's up out of there or Andy Reid leaves. One of those two.
They're already doing GOAT comparisons between him and Brady, I think, at 29. And his so I will say his numbers are crazy. They are crazy. I was looking like, I didn't even, because I'll be honest, like I'm into sports and stuff, but I'm not tracking it as deep as that, right? So, seeing the graphic in my face and like looking it up, I was like, oh, okay, that's actually true. My man got you got some numbers. Like, you know what I'm saying?
So put it like this: his first year starting was his second year in the league. But it was his first year starting, and he won MVP, and he threw 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards. And he went to the conference championship game, and they lost to the Patriots. But when he left off the field, he had the lead. They didn't get the ball back in overtime because of the rules. So, and then by the way, the next year he won Super Bowl. And then by the year after that, he went Super Bowl again and lost it. But it's been his first 5 years. Yeah, and that we was talking about the debate. All right, are we gonna transition eventually? But we was talking about the debate as far as top 10.
20 minutes in. All right, we got
Now,
so okay. We got some time. 22
22
minutes. We got 2 minutes.
And this is what I'll be talking about. So this is what happened all our life. Tom Brady versus Peyton. Tom Brady versus Peyton. Patrick Mahomes wins the Super Bowl. And you know what you will see these people talking about who just argue Tom Brady versus Peyton for number one all time? They now say that Patrick Mahomes, if he would retire today, he'd be third best all time. Okay? Guess who's second, though? Joe Montana. I'm like, wait, if it's Tom Brady versus Peyton the whole time versus one, how did Peyton just get to fourth?
That's exactly what you just talking about.
And that's what I'm talking about. And now I got it on because now, like, I know, like, this is before, it got real big and stuff, everything. Now I got it on YouTube. I know y'all been arguing. I seen, is it the Marcellus? It was Marcellus Wiley when after Peyton won the Super Bowl against the Panthers and beat Cam Newton. He said he was the best all time at that time. Tom had 4 Super Bowls. Yeah. I can't do it. I can't do it. And this is why I'd be like, it's not argument, but like it's inconsistent. And I think you have to have the same consistency in all the sports. But I'm like, wait, Patrick, right now, they said if he retired, he'd be the third best quarterback ever. And I'm like, I have no issue with that. You put him where you want to put him at. But wait a minute, how is Peyton not second in this list? And that's my case. I was like, Peyton's not better than Joe, and Tom's better than Joe. So by definition, you can't. As we just talked about, if LeBron is arguing for 1, he can't be 8th on your list. How you argue?
Like somebody is 3.5. That's what they want to say.
But and also too though, dang, y'all demoted Peyton Manning that fast. Shout out to Patrick. What did Wayne say? Shout out to Gucci. Shout out to Patrick. You know how good you got to be to drop Peyton Manning to 4th? That's crazy. And they was just confidently saying he third all time. Third.
Yeah. I mean,
he got his stats is great. No, I'm not.
Yeah, that's just like the level of football that man playing right now. It's kind of
talent. Talent-wise, we got 20 seconds left. But talent-wise, I knew it was a problem because we all talk about, like, I think Aaron Rodgers is the best, like, ever, from a talent standpoint, like the jump Dan Marino, John Elway. But when we saw Patrick in his first year, everybody was like, this is the best thing we've seen. It was like a Usain Bolt type of thing. Like in track, it's like, this is the fastest person ever. It's like, I think this is the best ever. I know he just started, but this.
Yeah, it was almost like a new bar. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like, this is different. Like, you know what I'm saying? We ain't seen no shit like this before.
The no-look passes, look. And it's like, it's probably how they felt when sliced bread first came out. Remember, bread used to be the whole loaf. It wasn't, they was probably like, you sliced it?
Side arming passes consistently. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, it's nuts, bro. Like, it's not even it's the stats, but it's also the level of, I want to say,
the player.
Yeah, thank you. From the player, the razzle dazzle, the pizzazz that comes with it, right? Like my man's just over the top. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, look, I'm a Chargers fan. I gotta see him two times a year, probably for another close to 15 years. You know what I mean? Like I'll just take I'll take the 0-30. They lead. The best they can do is is win about 15 games. He's a problem, and I hope he can stay healthy and things like that, so we can see because his numbers gonna be crazy with the extra game and the more passing. If he played close to what Tom played. Tom tried like 46. It's gonna be like he might get over 100. I mean, whatever. Yeah. We'll been over, but all right, locked and loaded.
Let's get it.
We'll do a sports episode another day. Football season's over. All right, first. Oh wait, my bad. On
to the
fitness section.
Let's go.
All right, y'all. First fitness question. What are workout modifications and how can you use them in different ways? So how can you use the workout modifications in different ways? I think I know what this is about to be, and I've been wanting you to talk about these. I know if this is what I think it is, where when we're training and you're making sure you're saying like the correct term for the type of exercise when it's not the normal one or unmodified version. That's what this is, or no? Like modified push-ups?
Yeah.
Okay,
might be a little bit of that.
That's that. And the other thing is too, what you're talking about is how in shape do you have to be a trainer? Because Jordan be talking, and all trainers do, but y'all be talking your ass off. And y'all be working. I'm like, I'm like, there's no way. But, all right,
you just. I'll answer. Okay, so do you want me to answer that?
No. I want that to be like you drop it down as a question. I'll write it down now. But okay, first fitness question: what are workout modifications, and how can you use them in different ways?
Okay, Good. Okay, cool. So let me touch on that first. So I'm gonna try to get in and out because I know we talk a lot about sports. I ain't gonna rush it, but
These are our episodes, but they show us an hour and a half. We don't know why. The time messed up.
All right. So what are workout modifications? Workout modifications are the process of adjusting variables to increase or decrease the complexity of the workout. Okay. It's exactly what it sounds like. So basically, in order to increase complexity or change, I guess, the level of impact of the workout, there are variables that can change in various ways. I was gonna say just in did I freeze? Hello? Okay, we good. My bad. There are levels that there are levels that change the complexity of the workout, whether it's in favor of gains or to decrease the impact that it has on your body. Ultimately, this will change how you perform the movement and the overall effect that the exercise has. You should modify a workout when what answer this for me, Corey? When should you modify a workout? Since you know a little bit about it.
You should modify a workout when whatever the unmodified version is. Either you've never done it before. That's first. If you've never done it before, you might want to try the modified version.
Okay.
And then if it's a weight-based exercise, you're doing dumbbells or something, you can't whatever the weight is, you can't do the weight, and you don't have like a lower weight. Say you got 25 pounds, that's all you have. Then you might do the modified version, or you're tired, or you're just tired. You can do it the normal way, but you physically, you're gonna be at a. I think we talked about this last one. You might hurt yourself by doing the normal way.
Okay, not bad. I think you covered a lot of them. Okay, so you should modify workout when you're trying something new. That is the first one, right? So if you step up to the plate and you've never done this workout before, you should always try the modified version first. And we do that to make sure that we are capable of executing the workout as intended, right? Which kind of leads us into the next reason on when you should try a modified workout. When you feel like the exercise is not working the targeted muscle groups. So number one and number two kind of go together, right? So if you're trying something new for the first time, usually you're either taking some type of formal instruction from someone or watching a video or something of, otherwise, how else would you know how to do the workout? So you're watching somebody who's done it before, or you're following some type of formal ABC 1, 2, 3 steps on how to execute the workout, right? So if you've never done it, I always recommend trying the exercise in a modified form just to make sure that you are capable of doing what's asked of you, right? So perfect example, if you've never squatted before, right? I always start with the squat. Why do I start with the squat? Because it is a compound exercise that impacts the most different various muscle groups on your body at the same time, right? So I'm always going to use the squat as an example. If you've never squat using a barbell before, a back squat using a barbell before, it's different. It's a lot of pressure on your back. And form is key to make sure that you don't hurt yourself, right? So a lot of times us as trainers, what we'll recommend is for you to practice the form. I would start without the bar, right? So you're going to practice form without the bar. Then you gradually add the bar in there. And then you want to get to the point where you're actually doing the bar with the intended weight to start your reps, right? So first time you're doing your barbell squats, I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to say, hey, you're going to put your hands out. All right, you're going to squeeze those lats, make sure they're engaged, because what a lot of people don't know is you do want your lats actually engaged to make sure that the bar is sitting and stays put when you're actually executing the exercise. You want your feet shoulder width apart, toes either straight forward or 10 and 2. That actually depends on whether you have an inverted or exverted hip range of motion. So a lot of people don't know that. That's one of the modifications that happen as well. Me personally, my hips are inverted. So I actually point my toes at 10 and 2 when I do my squat as opposed to straight forward. It allows me to maximize my depth and range of motion. Okay. So things I figured out without the bar, right? Because you'll realize, you know what I mean? These little small things about how your body moves based on your body type, your physical composition, your genetics, right? Limit what you can and cannot do, but you need to figure that out before you start adding additional weight on top of that, right? So walking back through the exercise, so toes at 10 and 2, feet shoulder width apart. I'm going to squeeze my lats to make sure they're engaged. I usually pace my breathing to be on par with my body going up and down. Right, so I'll take 2 deep breaths. On the third deep breath, I will actually work on my diaphragmatic breathing. So what a lot of people don't know is the key to actually having really good squat form is to make sure that you inhale and hold your breath to basically have what we call basically like pressure in your stomach. What people don't realize is the belt that you see a lot of people wearing, that's actually made to do that for you, right? So a lot of people wear the belt, they tighten it up, and what it does is it creates that diaphragmatic pressure in your stomach to basically keep your back from curving. You know what I mean? To engage your core muscles and make sure that you are staying upright when squatting, right? So what you can do is you can actually practice the diaphragmatic breathing on your own and try to create that muscle tension on your own without using the belt. So I've been trying to do that more and more lately to increase the amount of weight that I can do without a belt. That way, when I get to the point where I've reached, okay, my diaphragmatic breathing can't hold 400 pounds on my back, then I throw the belt on to increase my core stabilization to allow me to do the motion. All right. So saying all that to say, modifications are key to kind of get you acclimated with the exercise. So if you've never done it before, you want to make sure that you modify, do the exercise without the weight, just to make sure that you are capable of doing the full range of motion and doing what's intended and hitting the targeted muscle groups, right? So we kind of talked about 3 reasons right there when you should modify a workout. When you're trying something new, when you feel the exercise isn't working the targeted muscle groups, or when you, as Cory mentioned before, when you're feeling pain or discomfort, right? If you're doing the range of motion, the intended range of motion on the exercise, and you feel some type of pain, and this is without the weight, when you're already doing the modified version, you should continue to do just the modified version, right? Please, please, please. And I say this because people will do this all the time. You'd be surprised. I don't know why common sense and gym logic sometimes don't mesh up. But you'll be surprised how many times people will continue to add weight even though they're already feeling pain, just doing the range of motion or executing the range of motion of an exercise without the weight. If you sir and or ma'am, if you're squatting and you have the barbell on your back and there's no weight on it, right? And you already feel some pain in your abdominal area, in your lower back, in your quads, and your knees, please, please, please do not add additional weight on there, because you can cause some form of permanent injury or something that you cannot bounce back from. Squats are not anything to play with if you do not have the right form, or it's not hitting the target muscle groups, or you just don't feel a level of comfortability with that you can manage the weight. So that being said, if you feel any type of pain or discomfort, continue to do the modified version until you have mastered the movement, feel comfortable with the motion, and then you can proceed on as intended. All right. And the last but not least, I think I touched on this a little bit already, but limited range of motion. If you are doing the exercise, right, and you don't maximize the range of motion, let's so perfect again, talking about the squat. If you're dropping your body, you should at least be able to get to 90 degrees. I feel like that's an ideal squat, right? Now you'll see some crazy stuff online. A lot of people are, on social media, and they'll demonstrate their squat and their butt is literally touching the ground. That's fine. If you can do that range of motion, awesome. Round of applause to you. That is not the I don't want to say the ideal, but that's not the general consensus of the range of motion, right?
Yeah, the minimum required depth for a squat is not that. It's 90 degrees.
Exactly.
Like the lowest you have to go is 90. 90 degrees meaning your knees, your leg, so your knee.
Exactly. And I think we talked about this before. It's not even just, there's range of motion and then there's optimal range of motion, right? Optimal range of motion, which is the one that actually has the most impact to the targeted muscle groups, is 90 degrees, right? I would give maybe 80 if you just want to push your quads slightly more. You know what I mean? That 80 at the max, right? But you don't need to go past that. Anybody that's going past that is just doing it to show to maximize their personal range of motion, and maybe just to work on their own depth. But as far as targeting the quads, the glutes, what you're here to maximize, 90 is it. So one personal modification I've made in my own workout is, a lot of people don't like to use, people say seats are cheating. They are not. I don't use a bench because I feel like a bench is a little too high. Most of the time I can't get to 90 degrees. And so for people who don't know, for our listeners, I am only 5'9". All right. A bench underneath me when I squat is, is not 90 degrees. Okay. So what I do, and I also do supersets. So I combo my barbell squat with a goblet squat, a dumbbell goblet squat. So, and what makes that easier is actually use the goblet squat dumbbell in a vertical position as my seat, right? So what that does is it's lower than the bench. It's usually right below my knees, you know what I mean? So it ensures that I get to 90 degrees, but it also allows me to isolate when I tap, so I don't actually sit on the dumbbell. My butt taps that dumbbell. I do a small pause for a second, and then I work focus on, exerting my energy to come back up, right? So what a lot of people don't know, as we get into these modifications, and I'm going to mention later, when you're doing a modification, you're actually not only decreasing the intensity of the complex, or decreasing the complexity of the exercise, but sometimes you're increasing the complexity of the exercise. It just depends on which way you want to go. So a lot of people just think, oh, modifications are just to make the exercise less intense. That's not always true. Mm-hmm. You can modify it. It gets harder. As Cory will tell you, shout out to the Fit fam. We do modifications all the time. Hey, this week, I got some stuff, y'all. This week is about to get fun. But anyways, I had to throw that in there.
It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. It's Sunday.
Yeah.
It's barely 12 hours. It was 17 hours away. No,
listen,
16. Yeah, I mean, that's not...
Let's put it this way: this joint drop, we'll be sweating. Okay.
Yeah. By the time, this gonna be out at 5 a.m. on the podcast platform. So you're gonna
listen.
We've already worked out.
I got some stuff for us this week. We're gonna be cooking it up, but I would say modifications go both ways. They are not just to reduce complexity. All right.
So I was gonna say, my bad. I was gonna say real quick, because you know me, about the 90 degrees. So remember when we brought up that protractor a couple episodes ago. So remember, a straight line is 180 degrees. So when you're standing straight, because I know some people talking about Jordan said 80 degrees. When is it 80 degrees? So 180 degrees is a straight line. Okay, so halfway, right? Isn't it half 180 is 90, and then so 8. You'd be squatting a little bit more, to your knees be bent just a little bit more. Okay, I don't want to, I don't want to be disrespectful, but some people don't know. And what I see a lot, I be on the internet now, like the rest of y'all, and people just don't know stuff. And it's just, especially like, math, physics, science, stuff like that. And I just be like, I just want to, 180 degrees is a straight line. So when Jordan's talking about being 80 degrees, I mean, you're squatting just a little bit more. Okay, as if you're actually trying to like sit down in a seat. That's getting closer to 80 degrees past the 90. Okay, so your knees should be bent more to go to the 80 degrees.
And for people who don't know, so 90 degrees is a right angle, right? So we start talking about squares. It is a right angle, okay? You should be square, all right?
And rectangles.
Yeah, yes.
I'm gonna stop right there because geometry was not my top tier math suit. It was not my top.
Yeah. So when you start talking, look, I was gonna start getting into it's a polygon.
I know, but I knew I was saying you gonna start. Don't do it. I was about to think about it because remember, a square can also be a rhombus and a rectangle. I forget they start saying stuff.
No, because a square by definition, we start getting proofs has that 4 equal sides and 4 right angles. That's a proof for a square. I remember that one. So a rhombus can't be a square, but a rhombus is a polygon because it has 4 sides. Correct.
Every square is a rectangle because it is a quadrilateral with all 4 angles, right angles. However, not every rectangle is a square. That's what I'm talking. When they said that, I was lost. I was lost. I thought the rectangle meant, it's the two sides of the same length, and the square mean all the sides the same length. But then you telling me all the squares are rectangles. I'm like, wait.
See, this is what we said. Shout out to proofs. I hate it. So for the record, we are both STEM majors. I hated proofs growing up. Okay, geometry was not it.
Yeah, geometry was not. Yeah, I'm glad that was just like a one-time class, and you don't really like go deep like into geometry type stuff after that, unless you do like you start getting like trig. But trig is like its own course people don't take. Like you touch on trig, some like pre-calc and calc. But yeah, I'm looking at it. So I'm like, nah. They told me. I don't know about you, but in my class they told us that all the squares was rectangles.
Triangles been triangles my whole life, bro. Like I don't need to describe and proof in a 1, 2, A, B, C.
Like what you mean? Was it equilateral, obtuse, and acute? Was that the 3?
Acute. Yeah. Acute is less. Hold on, let me see if I got acute is less than 45. Obtuse is more than 45, right? And then equilateral means all angles are the same, right? ABC is the same. Look, we gonna get into that. Anyways, bring it back.
I'm not. Like I said, me. I usually take a shot at the math. Geometry is not. I concede. I know. Look, that's some of the issue with y'all. Y'all don't know when to fold them. Look, I went straight to Google on if a square was a rectangle. I didn't try to act like I remember from 8th grade. I just went and Googled it real quick. I'm not gonna do it. Yeah. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that was just the protractor stuff. So y'all understand what the 80 degrees is. So you're not doing like 110, right? Or 120 instead of doing 80. You're more in depth into your squat.
Listen, if you can do 110, let me know. Look, you in there like, all right, but bringing it back. So no, I appreciate that, Cory. So because we, like you said, we don't ever want to assume that people know. So it's basically chair length, right? So you're gonna be sitting 90 degrees. It's basically sitting down. 80 is right below that, right? What that does is it allows you to contract your muscles, and you're basically pushing them. So 90 is where the expected squat range of motion, right? Ideal for optimal, right? 80 pushes it slightly past that, and honestly allows you to kind of push past your limits and break that threshold, right? Because as I've stated before, some people can go, 30, 40, right? That what's necessary? No. But what that does is it does allow you to kind of push back past your comfortability and know that you are capable of, controlling this weight for an extended range of motion versus just optimal, right? Because there may be a time where so we talk about practicality and actually using these exercises in real life. There may be a time where you actually are squatting, or lifting something up and you got it on your back and you might be past, chair length, right? You don't always start. Most of the time you start from the ground when you pick something up, right?
I say you moving the couch, you're close to about 30 degrees. Your the back of your thigh, your hamstrings and your calves are touching. That's in that you getting close to 0 degrees with that.
Yeah. So, so saying all that to say, I'm never going to tell the people that are doing, the ideal range of motion that, beyond 80 degrees, right, that they're wrong. Because, it has more real life application. When you pick stuff up, like you said, it comes from the ground. When you're moving that couch, you're picking that bed up. That's what it is, right? And then you gotta look. It starts off more like a deadlift because you gotta use. Look, we ain't gonna get into that. Then it turns into a squat once you get it up. Look. Anyways, but saying all that to say, yes, just be mindful of that. If any of those 4 things, again, if you're trying it for the first time, you don't feel like the exercise is working on an intended muscle group, limited range of motion, or you feel pain, that's when you should run any type of modification, right? At least as far as a reduction goes. So when we start talking about intensity, increasing intensity, Corey, what are some modifications that you can do to increase intensity?
You can slow down the exercise. Obviously, you can increase weight. And then you can also increase reps.
Gotcha.
And what you can do, you can turn up the heat. I almost passed out. I think it was last week. They had the heat on. I was, when you get it's too hot and you get sick and you get the bubble guts. That's what happened to me. I was so hot and I was like, why do I have to poop right now? And I haven't, I'm thinking, I'm like, it's hot in here. I had to open up the window and everything, turn the fan on. I was dying. I was probably, but like, I think it was a Monday one, but I think it was last Monday. So this week, a week ago, man, I was in that joker dying. And it was leg day too. So the worst day, upper body day a little bit better. I mean, we do combination now, but I was like, what's happening? Because mind you, I mean, the weather's been tripping here in Maryland, but it was cold. So I was wondering why I was hot. And I had to open up 2 windows and turn the fan on. My goodness, I was dying. But turning up the heat, that your body temperature will increase. But
Look, that's realistic. So I mean, it's environmental factors. So we can start there, right? So environmental factors, right? That's definitely a way to. That's a modification that you can make. That's not where most people start, but I mean, sometimes it just happens by default. So in Corey's situation, it's out of his control, right? He's using a gym. I'm pretty sure they got the thermostat in there, but they got the lock on that joint, so you probably can't change
it's
it.
a lot. It's in a glass box. If it's in the plastic.
So you stuck on, you stuck on hell. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just sweating,
I think it's easier to get the fire extinguisher out than change the AC. I mean, I'm just keep it, Like, just keep it in bed.
It really is, That joint's locked up. They do that. I think they do that, because they don't want everybody.
They're regulating the temperature.
But saying that to say, so those outside forces, those environmentals, it's a reason why running in the desert is easier than running in, on a chill, just not a chilly day, but a neutral day, right? That heat. So your body, so for people who don't know, getting back to the science and stuff, when you exercise, your body naturally produces heat because it's using energy to do these motions, right? So you're already increasing your body's natural temperature while increasing your heart rate, expanding your lungs and maximizing your respiratory capacity. So you're doing a lot of things, and as a result of all these actions happening simultaneously in your body, you're actually generating heat yourself. So Corey's heating up himself internally, right? Then on top of that, he's in an environment where it's hot outside too. So when he hot on the outside, hot on the inside, literally, if he was doing the exact same exercise, I'm talking about no modifications to the exercise, and he was doing them in a standard temperature gym versus the gym that the temperature that he was in on one day, he would literally burn more calories just because he's generating heat internally and he's generating heat externally, right? So, and specifically in our FinallyFit exercise, we do a lot of HIIT or strength training. Either way, they're all timed, right? Regardless of what we're doing that day. And so he has a limited amount of time to cool himself off. That's what you're actually doing, where you're slowing your heart rate down, you're taking in oxygen, you're cooling yourself off. However, if you are hot internally and there's, and it's heated externally, it's still the amount of oxygen you can take in to, be able to cool your body off in that same amount of time is limited. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hot. You know what I'm saying? You're still gonna get air. Don't get me wrong. You're not about to pass out, but you're not cooling yourself off, and you're already taking in hot air. You see what I'm saying? So people know your body temperature is 98.6. That's the average, right? That's what it should be. It might fluctuate a little bit here or there. If it's over like 99, technically you have a fever, right? But 98.6 is what it should be. So if you exercise it, let's say it's 70, 80 degrees in the gym, and you're heating up, baby. It's it's hard to cool that down, right? So that is a modification that you can make. You can just change or train in a harder environment. Let's take it one step further. Let's say you're outdoor, right? If you're running, I don't know if you've ever ran on gravel or sand versus running on concrete, but because the ground is not solid, right? When you're pushing, you are not getting as much return on effort that you're exerting versus using a solid force, right? So running on a treadmill, running on concrete. I don't know if y'all ever ran a mile on the beach, but listen, that's a whole different level of burn right there. Okay, not only does it impact your time, because literally you're exerting the same, if not more, pressure per step, but you're not. We start talking. I don't know if y'all. Well, shout out to whatever episode we're talking about, stride length and gait and all that type of stuff. But literally, that's the math on it, right? You're exerting the same amount of pressure, if not more pressure, but you're getting less return for it, right? So by definition, you are going to burn more calories because you now have to do more work to get the same amount of result. You see what I'm saying? So that's another way that environmental factors can affect your workout. You want to say something, Corey?
That's kinetic energy. Talking about the pressure. It's kinetic energy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, don't ask me. Don't go. Don't go. Don't. Just stay right there. Just stay right there. It's kinetic.
All right. Okay. You want me to dive into the physics? You gonna leave it alone? You leave it alone?
I can't remember exactly how you write that thing. It might be KE. It might be K. It might be K with a little E in the bottom. But I just remember that's kinetic energy. Okay, that's centripetal force. I remember the things. I remember the formulas. If it's not Newton's second law, just go ahead and write it past me. But I remember how the things work.
Force equals mass times acceleration is the important one. Right? I won't say that's the only one we need to know, but that's the one that matters right now. Okay.
That's how a lot of people be getting in issues when you be seeing like, look, you got this big old truck. You need to know that when you're driving. I talked about the 16-year-olds, had a license. You were 16. Look, you're driving a heavier vehicle, moving 100 miles an hour. It's going to take long. 60. Don't speed. 60 miles an hour. It's gonna take longer to stop by definition than a little Corvette, because by definition they're trying to accelerate the same. Well, not acceleration. Now we get to speed, whatever. But they're moving at the same speed, right? And then one weighs more than the other. It's gonna have more force, take longer to stop. This is how it works. And that's without any conditions. So
that was one of the other things that while I was looking at just surprising facts about like driving in general. People don't realize that it doesn't take a lot of acceleration to actually be in a fatal accident. 30 miles per hour. That's it. 30 miles per hour is literally, what I mean? Is I mean, don't get me wrong, it can happen even lesser speeds than that, but I think that's like the general statistical, what I mean? That's the data median, right? Like that's what it's like, okay, at 30 miles an hour, you are more likely to have a fatal accident than, below that, it's like, okay, it can still happen, but it's highly unlikely. You know what I mean? But that's not fast, right? People don't know. You can go 30 in a residential area. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You shouldn't. I think most of us,
it's probably 25 and lower. Yeah,
25. But let's be honest, most of us go about. I'm just talking about how you realistically drive versus what's recommended, right? Mm-hmm. It's probably 25. Anywhere from 15 to 25 in a residential area, but you're probably going 5 miles over speed limit because that's what most people do. Allegedly, and then and so 30, you know what I mean? 30 is fatal. If you and another car collide, or not even another car, but you in a solid, a movable force collide at 30 miles an hour, it could technically be fatal. That's enough to set your airbags off right there.
That's what I was gonna say. It's the physics. That's why physics is so crazy. It's the force, energy, or it's an energy technically, but energy cannot be destroyed, only transferred. So that's why when people hit a tree, a lot of times, even saying they're not going that fast, the tree in short is the earth. Like it's rooted into the earth. So when you hit the tree, all that energy, it comes right back. It comes right back to you, and it's all obviously instantaneous, right? It's not like in slow motion, and that's why you like to jerk forward, and you can imagine all the other things that's going on, the weight of the vehicle, all this type of stuff. That's why it happens so fast. And this stuff is important out here. Just not, with fitness, because that matters too. When you see people doing these crazy heavy exercises and y'all see them get hurt really quick, it's the force and all gravity. And I mean, it's a lot of stuff at play here. And that's why Jordan was talking about the modifications. If you're hurting with no weight, definitely don't go up in weight, because now what you're going to do naturally is you're going to exert. But by definition, you have to exert more energy and force to move more weight. That's just how Earth works right now. And if you're struggling with no weight, you do it to come back, and that's what people snapping stuff and things like that. So that's why it's important to understand, not like be a physicist, we're not physicists, but just to understand how Earth work out here. Like, don't keep playing with Mother Nature, her and Father Time. I'm just keeping it real. Listen, like, you got to be weary of this type of stuff.
It gets real
hurt out here. Yeah.
Like I don't know if y'all have ever seen the, I'm not gonna bring it up because it's kind of gruesome, but the leg press video. I know you know what I'm talking about.
There's a lot of them, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've seen one within the past year, right? Where this gentleman, again, this is what we talk about. Form is important. So for people who don't know, the way a leg press is set up is you're seated. You're actually sitting at about a 45 degree. Is it 40? Yeah, about a 45-degree angle. Your back is closer to the ground. Your legs are pointing up towards the ceiling, the plate. So the weight is on a not a plate, but like I'm gonna say a wall,
it's elevated.
like a floor.
It's elevated. But it's elevated.
Yeah, it's an elevated surface. So saying all that to say, right, the way you're positioned naturally, right, without any weight on there, gravity is already working against you. If you take the brakes off of the leg press and you decide that you want to move that, there's already some innate weight on there just due to the fact that gravity exists. These things are made out of metal. It's almost like the bar, right? Like nobody realizes like the bar itself is 45 pounds before you even get to the most bars. They change your weight now, but the average bar, barbell, right, is 45 pounds before you get into adding anything else on there. So even again, remember we're talking about squats. If you can't squat or your squat form is not up to par, you're trying to get under some weight before you even start adding weights on it. You got to be able to handle at least 45 pounds. You know what I mean? You got gravity, all the other forces at play because of physics, right? So when we get to the leg press, same thing. So if your form is not up to par on the leg press, so there's a gentleman in the video, his form was, so if there's one thing you don't remember from this episode, please do not lock your legs out on a leg press. Okay. Optimal range of motion on a leg press, you get to the point where your knees are almost extended, but you never get to the point where you flex all the way out, right? And the reason because of that is because leg press, for it to be, I don't want to say for it to be optimal, but a lot of people like to put a lot of weight on the leg press because it's almost like you trying to show off. It's a showboat. Yeah, it's a showboat. Yeah. To me, I'll be honest with you. I don't even leg press with both legs. The only time I go on a leg press is when I'm doing single leg presses. That's because I really like to isolate my quads, and I don't go over 135 pounds, 225 on a good day, right? So people don't know the math on that. That's 245-pound plates, and that's individually. I'll work one leg. You know what I mean? I do that to really push my quads, but again, limited range of motion. I never fully lock out my leg, and I do that to get that extra work in. I don't use the leg press for both legs anymore. It's one of those things where I'd rather just squat. You know what I mean? Because squat is it's a little bit. Again, targets more muscle groups. Leg press is literally isolation from the lower body, right? With your squat, you get the core, you get the back, you get a lot of other stuff, right? So saying all to say, if you got to pick one, do the squat over the leg press. However, if you are going to do the leg press, it's fine. Do not lock your legs out because this man folded. He had about 700-800 pounds on there. Yes. Okay? And your knees fully extended are not made to withstand that kind of pressure.
The pressure, it's gonna do this. Where it's like this it'll bend. You see, look, even my fingers.
Listen, that man started looking like bent back paper clips.
You see, if it just bend a little bit, it'll go. But if you do this, it just and then all that, and then but the difference is my hand's not enough pressure. It's not 700-800 pounds alone. But as you can imagine, the rest of this crumbles. I don't think I might have done the exercise once or twice. I'll do the leg press, but not the one where it's elevated like that and you're on the you're lower to the ground. I'll do it when you're more like in a straight up seat because it's not worth it.
Yeah,
I'll just squat, but it's not worth it. I think we were talking about that on the last episode, where it's like it's not worth the risk from an injury state. Because you lose. Because like this, pretty much both your legs is pretty much destroyed. Broken recovery time.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. So let's be very clear. Not even just so depending on where the snap occurs, because let's be final result of that video, that man broke both of his legs, but I think he did more damage to his knee. So for people who don't know, the snap usually occurs at a joint, right? So for people, the way your body is set up and the pressure always goes to the nearest joint, right? So in your leg, your biggest joint is, you got joints at the ankles, joints at the knees, joints at the hips, right? For this motion. However, most of the impact is on your knees, right? So my man's knees folded, and the problem is his bones will heal, right? But the impact to that joint is almost ligaments. Yeah, the ligaments, the tendons, all the stuff that holds, your meniscus. That's what. Okay, so we getting into sports a little bit, right? But we start getting into tears. Yeah, you start getting into tears. It's a reason why tears are season ending. Okay, you get in there and you rip something. It takes a long time for that stuff to recover, for it to heal. You know what I mean? For you to even get back to the point where you're doing functional movements again. We're talking about just walking, maybe a slow paced jog. Athletes play at a level that is way above par, right? So we got, functional movements, we got regular athletes, we got professionals, right? When you tear something, you're back down here, you're in the negative, right? So not only are you you below the people that
can't, you're at the bottom.
You know what I'm saying? You below the people that can't walk, bruh. Like
Right.
that's so to say the you just got to think about that from a time perspective. Then we start getting into other factors about age. You know what I mean? That's why some people when they have these experience these type of tears, they're done. You know what I mean? Especially from a professional standpoint, you get the wrong, MCL, ACL tear at the wrong time in your career is over. You know what I mean? Just from a healing standpoint, you can only recover but so fast. You know what I mean? Regardless of age. And then on top of that, age plays a factor. How well you take care of your body plays a factor, right? I mean, shout out to, again, perfect example, OBJ, right? My man's had his tear, he sat out the season. You know what I'm saying? Like he sat out the season.
That's a top athlete, like genetic wise, and both his parents were, I think, D1 athletes. So like he has the genetics on all his, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, and I don't know his age off the top of my head. Is he still in his 20s or in his low 30s at this point?
Yeah, I think he might be a couple years younger than me. We turned 30 this year, but I think he's a couple years younger.
Okay. So he's in, and so I'm guessing like 27, 28ish. You know what I mean? Like I don't think he's terribly younger than us.
No, he's old enough. He's 92. He turned 31 this year.
So he turned 31. Okay, so
he turned 31 this year.
Saying all that to say,
no,
my man,
no.
I'm gonna be honest. If that was me, I'd have got my ring. I'd have hung it up. That'd have been it. Because it just, from a recovery standpoint, he might. Don't get me wrong. OBJ is an amazing athlete. I've actually been following him and his trainer. He looks prepared to play. He actually just dropped a video earlier this week. He looks prepared to play. All right, he looks amazing. His recovery process has been awesome. He actually looks like he put on some weight. He might even be muscularly superior to when he went out the first time. You know what I mean? Because usually when you come back from stuff like that, if you do it the right way, you actually can come back better. Your body is made to be resilient, right? However, me personally, I think I would have just wrapped it. I'd have went out on top. I'd have got my ring. Don't be wrong. I'm gonna do the recovery. I still would have gotten back, I think, into a decent amount of athletic shape. I just don't know if I'm doing what's necessary. Because again, people don't realize pro shape. If y'all looked at a regular workout, right? When I say regular, the average Joe's workout, right? And what it takes to be a professional athlete, there's a significant gap in the level of effort, the level of work, the amount, the amount of repetitions, the endurance, the stamina work that goes into that, the frequency, the amount of sleep, the dietary requirements. That's all they do. You know what I mean? They got people who are hired literally their body is their product, right? They are the product. So they have people that are hired to help maintain this versus, we go to work 8 or 9 hours a day. You come home, you got to be a parent, whatever, you do what you do. You might have a beer or two. Like there's not saying that they don't drink, because, they do what they do, but, their body is their 9 to 5, right? So there's a difference of level of work for people like that versus people, who are just out here to, be in shape or be athletic, right? And there's nothing, I'm not, take that as you will, right? But bring it back to the modifications, right? Make sure that you are focusing on the correct range of motion and don't hurt yourself. All right. But modifications that you can use to increase your workout. I'm gonna try to get through. I know we run it, but it's good stuff. So modifications that you can use to increase your workout. Angle of impact, right? If you've never, perfect example, a push-up. If you've never done a push-up before, when you're in a high plank position, your hands are about shoulder width apart. Usually slightly in front of you, not directly underneath you. I'm doing this as I work through it because I'm trying to make sure I explain it right. You want to bring your chest to the floor. If not to the floor, right, I would say at least elbows at 90 degrees, okay? And you're going to control the motion, engage your core as you squeeze and press to go back up, right? If you are incapable of not benching, but basically that's what you're doing. You're bench pressing your body weight against the floor, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're incapable of doing a push-up, one thing you can do to actually alleviate some intensity is change the angle of the workout, right? So you can actually do a push-up elevated on a chair to decrease the intensity, right? What you're doing is you're not putting your full body weight in a horizontal position, therefore decreasing the surface area of the gravity that's impacting the push-up, therefore making it easier to do, right? But the same thing works in inverse if you want to actually increase the intensity of the workout. So what is the... Sorry about that. My wife.
What's up, Siri?
If you actually want to increase a push-up, so when I say increase or to decrease the intensity, you would actually elevate the upper half, right? So your upper half of your body. But if you want to increase the intensity, you could actually elevate the lower half of your body, right? What does that do? That actually puts more in. So when you're going down, or when you're lowering your body to the ground, you're actually putting more pressure on your body. And usually what's happening is you're lowering your elbows past that 90-degree point, right? If my feet are elevated, when I drop down, immediately I start feeling the intensity versus on the push back up, right? Because my starting point is already at a higher elevation than what it would be if my feet were just on the ground, right? So again, it works both ways. Increasing the angle for your upper body will lower the intensity, while increasing the angle of your lower body will increase the intensity, right? Also, it causes you to engage more core stabilization as you descend in the push-up. So that's why it would increase so modifications work both ways. Another thing that you can do to increase intensity is, as Cory was stating before, you can increase the weight or you can increase the amount of reps, right? Obviously, if you're doing 8 reps or if you're doing 15 reps versus 8 reps, that's increased modification right there. You're going to feel that impact, trust me, as you start doing more reps, or if you're doing something for time, which is what we often do in our FinallyFit exercises. Shout out to the Fit Fam. We just increase the time. Or another modification, one of my personal favorites, people think that you always have to increase the time that you're actually doing the exercise, which isn't necessarily true. We can do the same duration, we just decrease the break time. You give your body less time to actually recover, to return to its neutral state, and you just keep going. That's what ultimately HIIT has become, I feel like, a thing that's been more popular in the past like 2 decades or so, but it's been a thing. It's been around, right? Ultimately, what you're doing is you're just decreasing the amount of time that your body gets to recover, right? So you're putting your body in a more duress state, doing these exercises, which you're decreasing your recovery time, allowing your respiratory capacity to increase, because you have to be able to control your breathing. So bringing it back to what you were answering before about how trainers are able to do that, it's practice, it's repetition, right? I had to learn to control my breathing, period, to be able to talk to you guys throughout the workout, because we're doing the same level of work. You watch me, I do it on camera with you. So shout out to the Fit Fam. When we do these exercises, I'm doing these exercises with you, but I have to talk to you throughout the exercise, right? My job is not only to guide you, make sure that you don't hurt yourself, perform corrective actions live. So if you're doing something wrong, to actually correct you, but to also, give you motivation to get through the workout, right? So to be able to do that, I had to be able to do the workout, but also maintain my own, breath, push myself, because I am still trying to get some burn while I'm here. Like, people think that I'm just out here to be out here. No, I'm out here because I'm trying to get this work too. And most of the time, I'm adding my own modifications to, make it more intense on my body. But you have to learn to control your breathing. So what does that mean? I have to do these things. Like, my frequency, I would say, is probably what saves me a lot. I do more HIIT workouts per week than my class to be able to teach my class, right? That's the only way I'm able to talk through most of these workouts to my class, because if I didn't, you know what I mean? I'd be out of breath. And you'll catch it. You ever had a trainer that stops talking mid-workout? They're tired. You know what I'm saying? And it becomes obvious, it's blatant, especially when you're doing it live and you got people all eyes on you. And it happens sometimes. I'm not gonna say like we're impervious because we're trainers, like we're just instantly immune to this type of stuff. It happens to everybody, right? Usually what that means is the workout was just more intense than expected, which is good, because sometimes you need that work, right? But ultimately, your trainer should be able to talk you through your workout. I'm gonna touch on a couple of these last points, and then we're gonna get up out of here and let you get onto that finance section, because we got some good stuff coming up. To increase the intensity, some other things that you can do is, as we were talking about earlier, increase the range of motion. So remember, I was giving you optimal versus full. People who want that next level of intensity, add some more to their optimal range of motion. As you stated before, you can reduce the speed, so you can control the ability to go, for the executed range of motion, and the speed at which you execute. That is actually a really good one for intensity. For people who don't know, if you really want to step it up, you don't got to change the weight at all. Let's say you're doing, again, bringing it back to a barbell squat, do 135 for the same 10 reps for pause reps. What I mean by that, you get to the bottom of your optimal range of motion, hold that joint for 3 seconds, and then come back up. I guarantee you, by the time you get to number 5, you'll feel a completely different burn. Controlling speed allows you to contract. So the difference, and I heard this quote before, and this is actually one of my favorites, the difference between weight trainers and bodybuilders is actually that, right? Bodybuilders lift with the intent of maximizing the gains on an intended target muscle group, versus weight trainers are just out here moving weight, right? So when you're quote unquote weight training and you don't go in there without, with the same level of intention, you might bench press and you might do 8 reps and you're just moving the weight back up and down, right? If you look at someone who's actually bodybuilding, they control the weight all the way through the range of motion. So they'll bring it down under control. They'll contract their muscles at the bottom of the bottom of the repetition. They may hold for 2 to 3 seconds, and then they exert force to move it back, right? Same exercise, 2 different levels of execution, 2 different results. If you've seen a bodybuilder before, their muscles are pristine, right? They're cut. They're at another level because they're actually contracting their muscles at the bottom of the workout, and they're slowing the reps down to make sure they're maximizing the gain, right? Which is ultimately what you came to the gym to do. Lifting the weight is cool. Controlling the weight is better. I don't know if you've ever seen somebody who, who's again moving the same weight. So deadlift, right, is always one of my favorites to watch, right? I've seen somebody move 765 pounds, you know what I mean, on the deadlift, and I've seen somebody control 765 pounds of deadlift, and it's two totally different things. And if you look at the person, there's two totally different results, right? Either way, that's a lot of weight, right? So shout out to both of them for being able to move it. But the person who can move it under control was by far, at least visually, was by far the person who had the greatest results, right? Because you have to be able to control the weight all the way through. I think that's increased stability, reduce speed, reduce or increase number of reduce load or increase load and weight. Yes, sir. So we're going to wrap it up there. Those are just some of the modifications that you can do to increase or decrease complexity. And those are the different ways that you can use them.
You gotta give. I can't give yourselves a round.
No, you good. Look, I just want to make sure you had no questions. No.
Oh my goodness! Now before we transition, this is what we have to do. Hold on. I'm acting like I'm saying stuff, but I'm not saying stuff. All right, here we go. Make sure you hit that like button. Share and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you leave those comments. And we do have comments. See, this is the benefit of live stream, right? We can pull the comments up. Again, if you guys have any questions, concerns, please leave those comments. For those who do come in or want to come in and join the show, when we do live stream every other Sunday, you do have the option to join the link, and you guys can ask. Well, you can't ask us anything because there are rules, but as long as it's within the YouTube rules, you can come up here and ask us any questions, because we don't talk about just health and wealth, finance, fitness, but everything in between. Oh no, Jordan went away. Did Jordan go away? I'm still here. Okay, Jordan went away. While he's figuring that out, I'm gonna get into the comments. We got from Ant. Ant gave us like the round of applause. Jordan's back. What happened? Can you hear me? He said Jordan's getting his stuff together. You good? I can't hear you, bro. I can't hear you.
We're locked in. We're good.
Oh, you good? I was about to say, what happened? What happened?
My bad.
Jordan went away. Oh my goodness. But here we go. We got a comment for our good friend Tony. Tony left us with this is like a round of applause. Shout out to Tony using the generic Simpsons color hands. But this is why I can't be in charge. Every now and then I realize why I can't be in charge. I'm just gonna say what I'm gonna say. All right. You good? You good though?
Yes, sir. We're good.
Your test good. Okay. All right. Locked and loaded.
Yes, sir.
On to the finance section.
Okay, let's get it.
Let's go. Here we go.
First finance question. How are car payments keeping the middle class down?
All right, y'all. You know what we're about to do, because if you listen to any Wealth Wednesdays, I don't talk no more about stuff. I get an article. All right.
Straight to it.
Excuse me. All right. So before we talk about it, necessities, debt payments, investments, lifestyle. Shout out to everybody having all this debt out here. Shout out to the fact that y'all been out here tricking off all this money and everything, acting like these student loan payments not about to start back up. You have not been listening to me when I told y'all whatever the first time they said the student loan, whenever they said the extension was the last extension, but they did 2 more extensions. Whenever they first said they weren't doing another extension, I told y'all to start putting your student loan payments back into your budget as far as a line item standpoint, so you're not actually spending that money. And even some of you, even if you have like the 10K, you still have student loan debt, go ahead and start paying your student loans back if you haven't been during this forbearance. However, not just student loan.
I got you real quick. Hold on.
I've already said this before.
I mean, let's be clear. I can't remember the first time they said it, but when they said it the very first time, they said this is the last extension. I said, okay, y'all need. They said this is the last extension. That's what they said.
They did. They lied, but they did.
Yeah. I think they reneged twice, but when they said it was the last extension the first time, I said, okay, y'all need to work these student loan payments back into your budget. I know I said it then, and I've obviously said it every single time, and I'm saying it again. Shout out to today being February 26th. This is Sunday. Tuesday, February 28th. That's when we'll have the first hearing for the Supreme Court as far as the student loan situation. But regardless, we're talking about here car loans, the real reason people are struggling financially. Can you see that, bro? I know you got a crazy big monitor. What does it
Yes,
look
sir.
like on your end? Is it
We're
good?
to go.
Okay, cool. I'm talking about from like a readability standpoint, not like can you visually see it?
Yeah, I
Is it
was
real
just
good?
zoom twice.
Zoom in twice. That's what I was asking. The one benefit of me having my phone is I could look on my phone and because it was another user and I could actually see how well it was. So a small step back, actually, a small step back. I'm gonna have to keep the YouTube stuff up so I can see it. But regardless, when we talk about car payments, okay, car payments again, necessities, debt payments, investments, lifestyle. If you got a car loan, you got a car loan. Jordan had a car loan. His wife had a car loan. I had a car loan. My wife had a car. Okay, everybody got a car loan. I had no issue with you having a car loan, but it's about if you want to keep this car, paying it off and not taking out another payment. All right. We know about the situation during the panorama where the production of the chips that go into cars had a significant decrease, and that caused the price of used cars, I believe, maybe for the first time ever, to increase. Now, used cars go down in value, but all of a sudden, used cars started appreciating. All right. And having a car payment in your budget, because remember, the one thing with car payments is what, Jordan? What's the one thing about car payments?
The one thing about car, it's a lot of things about car payment.
Yeah. What's the one issue how it's going to impact the middle class? What's the one real issue about the car payments impacting the middle class? This is not something I expect you to know, but I'm asking you.
I mean, they're ridiculously high. Is that? I mean,
but what do most people have? They usually have two car payments. They don't just have one. You have a car payment and your wife has a car payment, right? You know, your husband, whatever it is, but there usually a household has two car payments. That's the real issue. So when we talk about when we see these numbers, the average car payment, you have to double it. You have to double the number because there are two of these in this household. And when we start getting to these numbers for this bank rate article, y'all going to see the real reason. Because these numbers, again, it's $540 a month, a little over, to on a monthly basis to max out your Roth IRA, your traditional IRA, for $6,500 in a year. These car payments are going to be over that. Okay, that's what we're talking about. People don't have the money. And as you can imagine, unlike because even a house, right? When you say y'all say y'all both had a house and then y'all got married, most people aren't going to have two mortgage payments, right? Or they might rent it out, but you're not going to have two houses. You're going to have one. You're going to have one house payment, right? But when it comes to cars, people are going to have the two car payments. All right, so now we're going to get into this bank rate article, average auto loan payments, what to expect in 2023. This is by Rebecca Betterton. And then edited by, these are not, what is this? No disrespect, but I'm like, again, I took 3 English classes in college, but on the first shot, what do y'all want me to do?
I'm gonna go for it.
That's a look at the last 5 letters of our last.
Can we say that? I mean,
we can cuss, but it says risk.
First of all, you
this is a risk a bitch.
Oh gosh. All right, shout out to the YouTube algorithm. Please don't block us up.
We ain't passing it. We pay half the time now. Subich. That's what it is. It's for those of y'all who listening on a podcast platform. The first name of this person is Rhys, RHYS. Their last name is SUBITCH. I swear to God. Please come over to YouTube. I'm not lying. And this is a 4-minute article, so this should be pretty quick. And this was published on January 5th, 2023. Oh my goodness. Then this is what I be talking about. See, I don't make this stuff up. Like these be the names when I come on here and I don't read these articles at a time. Maybe I should so I can preface this type of stuff. But okay. Many Americans, right? The cost to finance a vehicle. Okay, remember, don't finance a vehicle whenever you hear somebody talking about finance is something that means taking out debt, right? Not paying cash for it, can be one of the biggest hits to their wallets each month. Because you can think about it, a lot of people, depending on the type of vehicle they have, their car payment might be close to their mortgage or like half of it. I mean, okay. How can I get through the article and be timely? But all this stuff comes in my head. But in short, when they tell you to get a mortgage, they don't want your DTI to be above 36%, right? But in short, they're going to make sure your mortgage payment isn't more than 25% of your gross, right? Unless you're in a situation where we look up these average, I'm not going to pull them up, but the average mortgage, what the average mortgage payment is, it's going to be in like that $1,000 range. I'm going to look it up actually, so I'm not lying.
Gotcha.
Average mortgage, there we go. The average mortgage payment should be, I think, like maybe at that, because there's so many numbers. It's $1,400. Okay, so it's $1,400 for the average mortgage payment. There's one in this household. And what do we see right here? Drivers are spending, Jordan. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm talking about. So people got 2 mortgage payments. Remember how I said if you had a house and your wife had a house where y'all got together, and then y'all would get rid of one of the houses or at least have someone pay for one of these mortgages. You wouldn't have 2 mortgage payments. But what do people go and do? They have a $1,400 mortgage payment on average, and then drivers are spending $700, over 700 and 500 each month for new and used vehicles. Okay, so 700 is for a new vehicle and 500 is for a used, but even 500 is still 1,000. You have 2 mortgage payments. This is why you're struggling financially. I can end it right here. This is why the middle class is not getting ahead, because they have 2 houses, but one of them's not a house. That's why.
This is relevant. I guess it doesn't affect the payment, but what is the average term? What is this term over? You know what I'm saying? So, you can change.
I think the new term now is closer to 84. Always remember, cars, not new, but I'm saying in general, cars are calculated, their term is in months. So it's usually 84, which is seven years. It's usually 72 to 84. And put it like this, I don't know if it dropped yet, but they're talking about coming out with a 10-year or the 120 term for the car and a 40-year for the mortgage. Like, you come out here and you got a 10-year car loan. Come on, yo. What y'all want to happen? But in short, this first article, I could end it right here. I'm not going to, because it's a 4-minute read. But the main issue is that people, for a new car, $700 a month, and for a used car, $500 a month. Let's say you have a new car, which you might get, right? You just had kids. People want to get, the new minivan, so whatever, SUV, so they can have all the features that you don't need, right? The safety features. So you got a new and used, right? 7 plus 5 is 12. That's $1,200. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm not lying, so I don't think I'm lying when I pulled up this average stuff. So I make sure I got my receipts. We'll pull up your mint. What's this say? Monthly mortgage payment statistics. Average $14 in 2021. What y'all want? The median is a rack. Look what that says. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Let me zoom in. Not for you, but I'm saying, look at this. Look what this says. And then this is why I be like, this is from January 13, 2023. And this is why I be screaming and stuff. Sorry, y'all. Let me turn it down a little bit. But this is why I be saying y'all need to stay your asses in the house, because this is, I just generally know what the averages are. And most people make the average income. I mean, most people are average. That's how you get the average and the median. Most people are at these numbers.
Listen, don't tell them to stay in the house. If they're paying $1,400 for that car, they need to be outside.
They need to be driving.
Living that journey. You need to be outside, boy. Don't spend no money. Just driving the car. Look.
Yeah, one would say, if you're gonna put all this money into the car, at least use it. Oh my goodness, that's the one thing about getting a house. You be on all these vacations, and then your rent and your mortgage so high, you're not in the house. Why you got this big old house? You're not here. Oh my goodness. But all right. But that's just so y'all got got the receipts right there. You can see what the average or median monthly payment is for a house, anywhere from $1,000 to $1,400. And you see here, they're talking about the average, so we can stick with $1,400 for the house, is anywhere from $500 to $700. And remember, you got multiply that times 2 from a middle class standpoint, because again, there are going to be usually two vehicles in the house. And even if we just take $500, right, for the average for a new vehicle, and then the house is $1,400, that's over a third. 500 is a third of 1,500. That's insane. That don't make no sense. All right, that's according to Experian, one of the bigger bureaus. Sorry, you saying something?
No, I'm just commenting.
You just saying like, this is stupid. Yeah. Hey, where you at? Play Tekashi. You got Tekashi on there?
Look.
Man, let's get on my nerves.
One more time.
And then insurance costs is, well, you got to pay for insurance because you got to do that by law. Okay, again, we're saying the steep monthly charge comes on top of recession-based increases. Okay, everywhere from grocery. All right, cool. So, wow. The amount you pay to keep your car on the road is dependent on a number of rating factors, credit score, vehicle you choose, okay, all these different things. Ongoing supply troubles, as I mentioned, right, with the chip shortage, because, cars are essentially, technology now, right? It's a computer that can drive, essentially. Some of this tech they got in the cars, a computer that can drive, a computer with wheels, and high interest rates. Some of them can self-drive. They're working on it. Viola be driving herself in my car. Viola got Honda Accord. She drives herself pretty well. But and obviously interest rates increase. The one thing too, when we're talking about debt, one of the big things with cars or car loans, interest rate, is that they're not as regulated as mortgages. So the one thing with mortgages is what? If everybody gets a mortgage on the same day, you're roughly gonna have the same interest rate, as long as it's same house, right? You got the same person. But when it comes to cars, that's not the case. Some of you may know people who have double-digit interest rates on their cars. It's like, how did they get that? Well, it's probably because their credit score was trash. But if you take two people, got a 710 credit score, they get a $300,000 mortgage. Their interest for a 30-year on the same day as in today. Their interest rate is going to be roughly the same, because interest rates are more standardized across the whole country. Car loans, not the same. Not the same.
Hold on. Go ahead. Unless you get that arm.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about the same thing. You got to get the exact same thing.
Okay. Right? I'm just making sure. I had to throw that out there. There is such thing as an adjustable.
Yeah, you get the adjustable. Yeah, the fixed rate. But what I'm saying is, though, for cars, though, that is not the case. Cars, there's no whatever advertisement you see, no, and you can go to the dealer, right, instead of going to your credit union, your bank. There are all these different ways as far as how you can get the car loan. Then there are different type of dealers, right? You can't go to the flagship dealer that's selling no sponsorship, but like selling a Honda. But then also, there's that dealer on the side of the road that's got all these different vehicles. There's all these different things that can provide you financing. And there's one of the main issues that you'll see, well, not the main issue, but a big issue with car loans is the fact that the interest rates are so different. If you got a home in 2021 or 2020, I kind of know what your interest rate is going to be. It's probably going to be below 5%. I don't care what your credit score was. The fact that you got a mortgage in 2020 or 2021, I know your interest rate is below 5%. As long as it's fixed, that's just what they were doing. For car loans, you got to tell me what it is. I don't know what your interest rate could be. All right. So again, what I was saying, whether your credit score is poor or you're looking to refinance, don't refinance a vehicle loan? My God.
Yeah.
I forgot you can refinance a vehicle. I forgot. I don't look. Never mind.
Forgot.
Anyway, I made a lot of payments from people's accounts. I forgot you can't refinance a vehicle loan. How you gonna refinance a loan that's for 6 years? When are you refinance it for? Oh my goodness.
You probably shouldn't have got the car to begin with, but that's a whole other anyways.
Oh my goodness. It's important to understand typical monthly payments and rates so you can feel confident you're getting the best deal. Here's the issue. You can usually, if you get a reasonable car, as far as what you should get from a debt standpoint, for people believe you should take out debt to get a car, it should take you a couple years to pay off your car. And I mean a couple, like 2. Even if it's in that debt, unless you got crazy debt, unless you're in that 6-figure range, it should not take you that long to pay off your car, as long as you get something that's relatively reasonable within your income. And the main thing you don't want to do is roll over negative equity. Don't roll over negative equity. Don't roll over negative equity. I feel like I'm Dr. Umar Johnson when he says things 3 times. Do not roll over negative equity. If your car's worth $10,000,
one more time for the people.
Don't roll over negative equity.
There you go.
If your car is worth $10,000 and you got a loan on it for $15,000 and you want to sell it, don't go get another car, right? That is, let's say, worth $20,000, right? But then you got to get a car loan for $25,000 because you got that $5K delta from the $15K loan, the $10K value of your car. Don't do that. Do not do that. Do not do that. Do not do that. That is because what happens is, normally, right, as we're getting closer to that, your car depreciates in value. So why are you gonna roll over the negative equity to it? Because now you bought a car that's worth $20K and you got a loan on it for $25K. You're already starting yourself in the hole. Then the car is going to depreciate. Whatever. The average monthly car payment for those you didn't catch what I said, again, it's saying it's $700. The used car is $500. It's not $500. It's actually $525. They're getting this explicit number. Okay, we got extra dollars. That's a lot. That's a couple of dollars right there, right? All right, then almost 40%. Dang. Finance new vehicles in third quarter 2022. Look at that. That's 61% finance third quarter. My goodness, for used vehicles. That's crazy. Credit union finance is made up over 30%. That means banks, I guess. Well, I guess you got the lender for the dealer. Okay, average cost of insurance. Okay, new loan amounts up to 10%. Okay, just saying SUVs and wagons. Are these G wagons that everybody's telling y'all to get so you can write them off for the taxes? Increase in finance share hitting 60%. Overall loan balances that grew 7.6%. Yep, and loan terms. Here you go, Jordan. You just asked me about 73 and 84. So they get 6 years and 7 years. Okay. How much is down payment? Again, down payment on a car, right? It's telling what y'all to put down, sizable down payment. Cash you have available, any value comes from your vehicle trade-in, right? You trade in a vehicle, but remember, you can't get your vehicle trade-in if it's, you have negative equity. I mean, you can get trade-in, but you're on the wrong side.
Right.
You trade in at a loss technically. You do trade it in, but you're trading in a 10K car with a 15K low on it. So now you're a minus 5K instead of it's a 15K car with a 10K, right? You got 5K in that situation. Not only will it save you money before financing begins, but also boost your reputation, right, with lenders. Here's the issue, and this is why you don't want to be really good at taking out debt for a car. If you do it one time, cool, pay it off. Don't ever do it again. That's what the whole point of this episode is for this finance section. Don't continuously take out car payments. Once you got whatever you got, I hope you like your vehicle. If you don't like your vehicle and you got a 20K loan, you want to switch to another 20K car that you like, go ahead and do that because you're not going into more debt. But then aggressively pay off the car that you do like. It's also your fault that you bought a car you spent $20,000, $30,000 and you don't even like the. Never mind. You don't even like the car that you got. I was about to cuss. You don't even like the car that you got.
That's legit. That's legit. As we, everybody's out here making these purchases. You should definitely validate whether. Bottom line up front. I'm sorry, I'm gonna interject 2 seconds.
Go ahead. I interject on you all the time.
Listen, car is supposed to get you from point A to point B safely, right? That is the main purpose of a car. So let's start there. Anything else that you get in a vehicle is considered a luxury. You know what I mean? Is a not necessary but a nice to have, right? That includes stuff like, I know y'all probably like, dang, Jordan, I can't even have heat in there. Listen, Shout out to
you're gonna need
you do listen. You do okay. This might be where we differ because I've been in a car before where heat and air were not they weren't functional. Okay,
you don't need it to operate the vehicle, correct? Like it'll still work.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so so I'm talking about what you want versus what you actually have to do for a car to be a car. Does that make sense?
Okay,
car just got to get you from point A to point B safely, right? So that's how I technically put heat and air in the luxury category, right? Now, it's things that we as people, as humans, right, for comfortability, deem as necessary. Yes, heat and air is in there. You know what I'm saying? You probably want electric windows, so you got to be hitting. I'm fitness. I'm gonna tell you, get your arm worked out in while you rolling it up. But you probably want the power, power steering, all that good stuff, right? So these are things that now in 2023 that I think are included in most cars, unless you get a used car from way back in the day. So if you're getting something, within the past decade, most of that stuff has that in there innately. However, if you did want to save some money, I think, and I'll share y'all, 10 seconds of my new approach for cars. I'm not getting another note. If I do, first of all, if I'm getting a note, I feel like I've already failed to prepare. That's the first thing, right? Because you can kind of time your cars, right? You can kind of what the current wear and tear on your car. You can estimate how much how many miles you put on it annually, per weekly, whatever the case may be. You can actually Google what the average use is on a car, right? You can kind of tell when it's going to break down. And then based off of that, you can kind of assume when you're going to need to buy your next car if everything goes out as intended. So therefore you can plan, save, etc. for that car, right? Me personally, I'm an auction person now. I will go to the auction quickly, go snatch you up a vehicle, calculate the wear and tear on how it is to fix it, because I know people that fix cars, you know what I'm saying? And I'll go from that standpoint because I personally refuse to get another car note. So I'd rather just cash flow a used car, on the way out, fix it up so it can get me from point A to point B without breaking down, and use that until I can save enough cash for my next car. And I just do that rotation. I'm assuming. So, I just kind of recently got into that because, right, my wife and I'm not going to act like, as Corey stated earlier, we started off with car notes, right? So we had those two staple cars, those cars that we are continuously still using to this day. But, as we're starting to, burn through those and transition to our next set of cars, I got a Kia, my latest purchase was a Kia Forte 2015. I already had 142,000 miles on it. I picked it up, but my commute to work is less than 10 minutes, right? I'm right down the street from my job. I don't go anywhere. As Corey stated, I'm in the house. I'm inside. I just had a kid. We inside, okay? And we outside on our legs. We ain't going nowhere, okay? So that being the case, little wear and tear on the vehicle, I just need a scoot around car, right? So just kind of give y'all perspective on how that works. You don't need to get a new car. You don't even need to get a used car that you can't afford to cash flow. That's what you want, right? Cars need to get you from point A to point B safely. As long as it does that, everything else is extra. My bad.
Right. Nah, you good. Nah, but I interject all the time. You have four. Here's the issue. We're going back 2 hours. All right, so all right, so I've been doing my best not to, but no, but like Jordan was saying, when he's talking about, we're talking about the trade-in right here, and now we're talking about the down payments. This is where it gets so confusing. But the one benefit of cars is when you buy used cars, you start getting that $5,000 range. They don't depreciate much more. Cars usually always have some type of value just because of the parts in and of itself. Right. So the great thing is, let's say you can save up, as they're talking right here, a good down payment, 20% for a new vehicle. And this is where I'm about to counterpunch everybody into oblivion. And this is where I get so confused. And this is why I want to talk to people in person, but like, in real life and, on the podcast, like, this is what I understand. So they're saying you should save up 20% for a new vehicle. So what am I going to do? I'm going to cross-reference this. What is the average price of a new vehicle? Right? You hear me clicking and clacking.
Look,
right? What's that?
I was going to say, I hear the keys in the background.
Yeah. What's that? Okay, that price is high. There we go. What's the average price? Oh my goodness. This can't be true. This is because there are a lot of vehicles, right? The average price of a new car surged a record high in December. $50K. All right. Now, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but 5 times 2 is what? 10. Okay. So that means 20% of 50,000 is going to be $10,000. Why don't you just go buy a $10,000 car cash? I can't even get it out. Why don't you just go buy the $10K car cash?
Now, I will say, because coming from because I'm currently, so my sister, right? Shout out to Jay, is actually in the process of buying a second vehicle, and I will say the average car that meets her needs, her familial needs, right, is not $10,000. So it is. It is hard to get. You know what I'm trying to say? When you start getting it. So again, got to get you from point A to point B safely. But if you got a kid, you got to have, what I'm saying? Kid, you and your significant other, you got to have at least 3 seats, which means you need a 4-door. You know what I'm saying? So you start, the price steadily starts shifting and does start rising, right?
Well,
So
this is gonna say on here, but obviously just getting the trucks. We're talking about the larger vehicles. SUVs going to cost more, so they're going to be probably above this average of 50K. So now we're talking about 60K is 12K. But regardless,
gotcha.
to your point, right? What are we talking about here? I got to share again the tab. It's talking about that vehicle you already have. Your sister got a car to trade in, right? She got a car right now. No,
Right.
I'm not saying her,
Yes.
right? But I'm saying in
Right.
general,
Right.
most people
Right.
got a
Right.
car,
Right. Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
now you got that trade in value. You already got some equity in the current car that you have. Now, here's the issue: what most people do, same thing with their primary house when they mortgage. The issue is you still got a loan on your vehicle. And so now you can't get like me, and you, but I own my vehicle outright. So at a point in time, I could have got $30,000 for my car when it was going up in value. I didn't have to worry about paying it off. I could just sold it, and I got everything out. So right now, if I want to transition to a car, right, I can get me another 20, 25, 30K car if I save up 10K, right? If I save up 10K, my car worth at least 20 right now. I can get a 30K car. I sell my car's worth 20, and then I have 10K. I go and get 30. That's what I'm saying in this example. Your car worth $5,000-$10,000, assuming you own it outright. Remember, see, if you do what this says, remember, they're talking about continuously getting a car loan. Don't continuously get the car loan. Don't continuously have the lien on the asset because it's going to make it harder for you to liquidate it. And that's why I was talking about where stuff starts getting confusing. Y'all don't hear the whole story. So now if we're talking about if you want to save up to 10K, your car probably worth 5 to 10K. I mean, most people, in short, is their vehicle's worth $10,000 if you got it within the last 5 years or so, especially with everything going up in value. So you got 20K. The issue is your car, you don't own it outright, and you still probably got a 10 to 15K loan on it. So you don't actually have the full value of the car. That's the issue. That's not my problem. I've been told you to pay off the debt. We going on 2 years. Okay. So y'all the car should have been paid off. But even in that case, even if you save up to 10K, how about this? If you go however fast you can save up 10K, and if your vehicle still works fine, why don't you just continuously save up so you can get closer to that 15, 20K amount? Or how about this? Let's say you can save up 10K in 5 months, or $2,000 a month. You buy a 10K car, right? Then I'm just talking about for 5 more months, you save up another. Remember, you bought a car cash, you have no car payment. Right. So now you continuously save that 2K. Shout out to Dave Ramsey method here for those that know. Now you have what? Another 10K, and your car is, guess what? A car you just bought for 10K, 5 months later, guess how much it's still worth? 10K.
I'm gonna say about
I'm
gonna say
in
like
5 months.
And I'm gonna say 80 some change.
It's not worth. It's not.
I'm gonna say 80 some change.
Jordan, if I don't make me go to cars.com and screenshot a car and then come back in July.
I'm saying 80 some change. It also depends on the wear and tear. Listen, okay, so we talk about different.
Fine, like this. Fine, we'll drop that to 8K. Now I have $18,000 since Jordan's so pressed on the 2K that's about to lose in 5 months. Now I got $18,000. Now you can move it to $18,000 car. Now let's do the same thing again. Right now we an 18K car right in July. Right, technically August, right? Because this month's almost over. Now it's August, and we in an 18K vehicle. I save up 10K again, right, in 5 months. And why transition to? Because Jordan said it's gonna be down 2K, so 16K. Now I'm in a $26,000 car. That's a nice vehicle. You can get you a nice used UFC. You can get you a nice used SUV, CRV, RAV4, whatever it is, the top of the line SUV, safe ones that a couple of years old in that 25, 30K range. And that's gonna take you 10 months to do. Boom.
The problem is people don't have the money to do that because they're not in that situation to begin with. You know what I'm saying? They pay off the debt, right?
Well, then who is Bankrate telling them to get this take off this 20% for? Who are they talking? Who are they? We're like they talking to somebody, as Kevin Hart said in 40-Year-Old Virgin. You somebody nigga wearing this nigga tie. They talking to some type of somebody. Do they want to save up this payment, right? For this down payment. And by the way, too, and I talked about this, people can save up down payments. People save up down payments. Shout out to the houses people get. People save up down payments. They just don't have any money after that. People will save for a down payment, but trust and believe. Oh my goodness. All right, let's talk about the more numbers. Edmonds. All right, cool. How much will my car payment be? Here we go to wrap up. What time are we on? Okay, we got a minute. We got an hour 30. All right. Telling you what you can expect your car payment to be. New car, $700. Loan amount. Okay, so here we go. $41,000. So even this time, with 2% of that is going to be, it's going to be 8K. So still in the 8K, 10K range. Used cars will be a little under 30K. At least interest rate. Look, God. I talked about the double interest rate. I didn't know. I don't know like what interest rates are except for houses. It's almost 10%. That's crazy. Y'all, I want to be very clear. If I could do something and guarantee myself a 9.34% return, I'd do it. I wouldn't invest in anything else. 9.34? This is guaranteed. This is what the bank making off you. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. Okay, average monthly car payments, getting your credit score, financial DNA. Okay, yeah, it's gonna impact it. Cool. All right, now this is okay, this chart is sideways, so it's gonna give me 2 seconds so I can read this. All right, boom. That's why I talk about your credit score doesn't impact your car, your payment that much. This is saying if you're 781 to 850, which is essentially A race, it's gonna be A, B, C, D, E, right? These ranges.
Mhm.
Even if you have a 780, right, you're going from 706 to 688. That's not that big of a difference from an interest rate standpoint. Obviously, it's a whole range,
Right.
a lot of stuff. But they're saying right now, from the worst credit score to the best credit score, your payment for a new car could range from $690. This is right. Hold on. This is saying, look, here go my mouse. New cars is $690 for 300 to 500. And new cars is 688.
Yes,
This is I don't work for bank rate. What this is, as your credit score gets worse, your payment should be higher. But hey, I guess that's how it should work. That's not what
you
this
look at
shows.
it because it's like, why is it? So it goes up. So the median credit score basically has the worst rate.
Yeah, it has the worst rate.
So
what this might be is that this isn't like, they're not directly correlated, but the lower your credit score, the lower the car you're getting might cost less. So the vehicle, this might be a 20K vehicle, this might be a 50K vehicle, you know what I mean? And then this is like this is in the middle. So these people that got the most FOMO, so this is the people gonna get, they're gonna get the 40K Mercedes Benz, and like you should just got the 20K Honda. So
the assumption is the lower credit score people are getting a lesser value.
The car costs less. Yeah. And they also might be in two, which is going to impact your minimum payment. They might be getting a longer term, so they might be getting a term that's creating that close to 84, 96 for the to get the average to extend. Versus these people might be on the 4-5 year or the 48 60 for the term. That's just my guess from that. All right, and so my credit. Okay, I hate when they do this. They show the bar chart and then they just give me just show me the table. That was screwing me when I was doing the student loan episode. That's what they're showing a chart to the table. Okay, again, saying, all right, what you're looking at, new cars. Oh, look, I'm right. I'm not right, but I'm just guessing. Let's see. I don't read these articles ahead of time. This how I know what I'm talking about, because this is what it's showing. So you see, this literally what we just said.
Listen, that new car price from the top credit score level to the lowest credit score level though ain't that different.
They're not that different. But what they're doing, like I said, these people are probably getting a longer term.
Right.
The rates the same. See, and they're probably putting less down. So that's how you get that match thing. It's crazy. Shout out to my internet timestamps. I promise you, I don't read these articles ahead of time. Oh, did you want to say something about it? My bad.
I was gonna say, why did the median credit score people got them trying to get the newest car? The FOMO people.
This is the FOMO, because it's the people they make like a good amount of money, but not enough of money, or also not enough of money. They make a good amount of money. It's still not enough of money. They don't make enough of money, but also too, they're in a situation where they like got a lot of cash but don't have a lot of cash. It's seven. I mean, I'm just keep it real. This is where we're at. So these people got more likely, not guaranteed, but more likely to have the emergency fund, or more likely to, even if they do take out car loans, they might be, like I said, saving for a hefty down payment for it, or they might be doing something where they're projecting 5-10 years out. So they're even investing some of that money, right? Okay, we plan on having a $500 car payment in 10 years. I'm going to invest $500 in the stock market, right? And so when 10 years come out, that type of stuff, that type of logic. Right. Versus now you get here, these people, they got money but don't got money, and they trying to keep up with these people. But these people not getting the same car that they got. This is the keeping up with the Joneses section. This is the definition of like, middle, lower class, middle class, upper class. Like this is where you don't want to be. This is the middle of the middle class. This is the middle of the middle class. You don't want to
interjection. Shout out to my neighbor Joe. Why did they listen? 2 weeks ago they just put up with his and her Teslas, Model Ys.
Okay.
You just like, I'm like, that's cool. But I'm like, in my head, I'm just like, somebody had to have died and they just inherited a lot of money, or they hit the lottery, or like they had to.
Don't wish that. Nobody died.
No. I'm not saying so. It was a joke. In the sense
I'm saying,
bottom line up front, they came into a large influx of money. That's what I'm trying to say. Because it's like, how you just pull up with his and her. So they had what was it? They had a Nissan. So they traded in the Nissan, right? So the Nissan has not come back. So the Nissan is definitely gone. But they still got a truck. And they got the his and her Teslas, and both. I'm talking when I say his and her, like same color model. One is the SUV version. So one is like the car, and one is the truck. But I was like, that's nuts, man. I'm like, that's at least 80 to 100K.
Running
into that driveway right there. That's crazy.
That's the one thing I hate when people try to fake on the cars. I already know how much your car costs. Just tell me what year it is and if it's new or not. I'll just look it up real quick. Shout out
What
to
is the point of that? What are we obfuscating? Like Google ain't the thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we all buy the same cars. Like,
most people, cars usually cost the same, not like houses, right? Cars cost the same, they relatively cost the same amount. But how about this? Most people have what? The dealership they bought it from on the license plate. I'm just gonna go to the dealership website and your car's still there. I got the VIN number, which is public information, and it's they remove your car from the website.
Like, I ain't even got to get an estimate on the model of that car. I can look up that car specifically, like your car. I can look it up and figure out how much it costs. Like,
or I can just go down to the dealer and they probably tell you how much they sold it for. This is, I mean, again, hide your as discreet as you want to be with your finances, but this is talking about the tabooness around it. It's like y'all be like, I ain't gonna tell how much my car, man.
Boy, please.
Yeah, I just googled it. I'll Google people car all the time. It's on the back. It's a Mercedes something, and I just Google it and see how much it costs. Then you gonna tell me what year it is. Oh my goodness. All right, then we talking about. Oh, again, here we go to interest rates. God, now this is how it should be for the car, the price of the car. So see the price of the car, right? New cars, it should be inverse. So technically, as your credit score gets higher, it makes sense if your new car price gets higher as well. But this is how it should be, right? Your credit score impacts your interest rate a lot. But as you can see, look at this percentage, y'all. This is what I'm saying. And this is where it's like, when I tell people, why do people have stuff that don't have money? Why do we let people who don't have money take out debt? This is 20%. This is a credit card. Yeah. I know I'm screaming. These numbers are insane. It's like, this is the first time I'm seeing it because I don't really know the interest rates like that. As I said, this is high.
This is teaching me
deep subprime.
Don't have below a 601 credit score. Let's leave it at that. I mean, don't try to finance a car, period. But if you definitely are, if you're going that route, you definitely need to make sure your credit score is 602 or higher. Right?
Yeah. Or how about this? I think I've already said this before, but I've talked about, I believe on here, and I tell my clients this. How do you know if you have a high interest rate or not? In short, outside of a mortgage and credit card, right? Credit card is gonna be the highest. But outside of a mortgage, which they fluctuate, they are what they are. If it's above 5%, you have a high interest rate. What do we see right here with people with the best credit score? What are they getting?
Highest is 3.84 on a new car. That's
what I'm saying is the people who have the best credit score, they don't get an interest rate above 5%.
Oh yeah.
And how about this? What do you notice the one thing about this chart? Real quick, I'll give you 10 seconds if you can see it.
What am I supposed to notice? That other than that's why we got the credit scores. Okay, got them listed out. They're getting super prime vehicles, at least for the top one, right? New car, used car. They're roughly the same for the new car and the used car.
The people with the best credit score are the only ones where their interest rate is lower on the used car than the new. Everybody else, the used car is higher. This is what I'm talking about. Look, you want to be able to, be the superstar player, you get different treatment. So everybody but the perfect credit. Now we already get the lowest, right? You already getting the lowest interest rate, but then if you get used, we'll give you a lower one. You know why they're giving their lower one? Because they're probably in a position where they can pay cash for a used car, or they can just go to somebody else. So the bank, right? The bank trying to get this loan on the. Never mind.
I got you.
Yeah, you gotta come sit. Yeah, you gotta come sit.
It's an incentive.
You gotta come sit. You gotta come sit down with me. All right, then are we almost done? Okay, we're at the bottom line. All right, because I know we like way over time. Clearly, neither Jordan or I have something to do. That's how y'all know whether or not. You know what I mean? That's how y'all know whether or not. When we have something to do, the episode get over pretty quick. But now here they're gonna talk about the this should be the term. And again, like I said, for those who don't know, how cars are calculated for the term are in months. So mortgages, when you see a 30, that's years, or 15-year, right? Cars, again, are calculated in months. So this is anywhere from 60 months to 72, which is anywhere from 5 to 6 years. Okay. And so, yep, used cars are going to be lower. Yep. Look at that, though. See, they're going to have the lowest one right there. And that's, remember, like, so again, I'm not going to go, but, they got the value of the car, right? All this type of stuff. That's how you see the interest rate can stay a little bit closer to these people because they got about the same percentage for that, but the term's gonna be longer here for this one. So that's how they get their payment to stay about the same. That's crazy. Okay, talking about how to calculate your costs. Yes, vehicle maintenance, same thing. I talk about with a house, you got to do your vehicle maintenance in there. A lot of you went out here and you got to use luxury vehicle, Mercedes, Audi, BMW, and the issue is your 25K. Mercedes still has the 40 or 50K maintenance that actual Mercedes cost when it was a new car, and that's why you're struggling financially. It's okay. You don't have to tell me. I know. Add the right, your insurance cost kind of is what it is. Insurance, predicate on your age, your driving history, accidents, things like that, tickets. From there, right, fuel costs, obviously. And then yes, you got to pay the rest. You got please factor in the fact you got to register your vehicle so you're not operating out here illegally. Okay, insurance and registration taxes is just, it's the legal process. You kind of can't skate those. They're saying bottom line, available rates, right? So it's talking about vehicle financing. All right, again, if you don't have a car, if you don't have a car, if you have a car, but you're looking to get a new one, highly recommend that you do not take out debt. If you currently have a car and you have debt and you're looking to pay it off, I recommend you aggressively pay off that joker. One of the biggest hinders, I think it is the biggest one. I think it is the number one factor why people stay in the middle class is their car payment. So you can imagine people have these in perpetuity. And then with not a lot, but a good amount of people do, they'll get a car loan for who? Their kids. Or so cars are very easy to people won't buy, people try to, but they don't just buy houses. They don't just buy a house. People will get a car note in a heartbeat because you can get a 200, 300. Okay. We're talking about that investing amount, right? I mean, a couple $100 with returns. Okay. And you wonder why. If you have a car loan your whole life, you
my first car, my parents let me come up with half and they matched it. I had $2,500. They gave me $2,500. I got a $5K car and it is what it was. You know what I'm saying? Now it lasts for a while. It had some issues. I had to get some small stuff fixed. Shout out to my Saturn Ion. I think it was like a 2000.
Yeah, the Saturn, they out of business. They're not here no more.
Bro, they don't even exist anymore. Exactly. People don't even know what that is. I had a Saturn Ion. That joint was legit. Honestly, I think it ran all the way up until, so I got that my senior year. So I got 3 years out of it. So I got all the way basically up right before I came to Bowie. I actually got into an accident my last semester when I was in West Virginia, right? So the car actually got totaled and they didn't have replacement parts for it. You know what I mean? But
I bet they did.
Yeah. So I mean, saying all that to say, I think it would have made it even longer than that had it not, had I not got to an accident. So I'm saying all that to say you can get a pretty decent car, for cash value and it lasts you a while and you not have to have a note, right? Mm-hmm. So
right. Yeah. Look, one of the benefits of having like the beta car is you value the newer. Like if you've ever been out and you've been in an accident, if you had a car and no longer had a car, right? Yeah. You're waiting to get your car back. You understand. I need something with an engine that can go about 60, 70 miles an hour. Because I can't travel. I can't carry this stuff and travel fast enough. And so that's why it's so important to truly factor in that maintenance so you keep your car up and running as long as possible. And that's why I said the benefit of doing your research when you start, you getting a 5K, 10K car. All right, just get what it is, and if you're gonna transition out of it quick, cool. Make sure you do the maintenance. But you start getting to that 20 and up, 30K plus, make sure you understand what you're getting with this vehicle, because since it does go down in value, you want to keep it as long as possible. All the cars are going to go down in value. They talk about, you buy a newer used car, they all can go down to roughly the same place, assuming it's the same type of vehicle, et cetera, et cetera. So at the end of the day, you want to keep your 2K, 3K car as long and running as long as possible and running as long as possible, so you get as much or don't feel the brunt as much if you losing 30K. You want I'd rather lose 30K over 10 years and 30K over 5 years. I mean, tell you the truth, I'd rather go down a little bit slower.
And I was just gonna say, by the way, a good threshold of measurement for that. So let's say you buy a car, it costs $5,000. You don't, in maintenance, and this is just, it's my personal rule of thumb, you don't want to spend more than the value of the car in maintenance, right? So if there's a something that happens to the car and it costs more than $5,000 to fix it, that car in my head is considered totaled.
It's totaled out. Right? That's how insurance companies do it. If your car is worth $5K and the repairs is $7K, this car's total. And so that happens too. One of the things too, this is something. If you have a loan on your car, and this is why I'm just like, who did y'all get your information from financially? Y'all didn't. I don't even understand. People will have a loan on their car. Let's say it's the car is worth $15K and they got a 15, 14K loan on it, and they end up totaling out their car, and somehow their car was actually worth $20K. That happened to me. I totaled my car and it was like my parents bought it for like $9, $10K, and we got like a $13K check for it. But my parents paid for my car cash, so we just went and got myself another car. However, people in the scenario, they'll have a 15K car, they got a loan, then the insurance company gave them a 20K check. Guess what they'll go do? They'll go get a 25K car. It's like, wait, this is backwards.
So you just gonna level up. You gonna go to more debt. Level up.
That's not so. You leveling up from you leveling up for a debt standpoint. I'm just like, logically, I don't even understand. I don't even think to do that. I got 15K in debt. The insurance company just gave me 20K. I would go get another 5K loan and have $5,000.
Right.
You know what I mean? I would pay off my car, get another 15K loan. I'm in the same spot. At least I got 5K. And actually, I would get a 10K loan because I got 20K. I would go buy my car again. That's the issue. Why don't you just go buy your car again? They got more of your cars. They got your cars out here. Your car is out here for sale. And that's what just like, that's decision making. So if you, unfortunately, hope, obviously more important from a health standpoint, but if your vehicle does get totaled out and you still have a loan on it and you get as much or more as far as how much you have for that loan, do not go more into debt. So if you get a 20K check and you got a 15K loan, go buy your car again for 15K and you got 5K in there, or buy the same car. Now you got 10K left. Or would you, if you can thug it out, because now you got no car payment. Because maybe you got this car payment, Jordan, you're paying $400, $500, $600, $700. Go get you a 5K car, save up for a couple of months. Never mind. Shout out to Dave Ramsey, man. This is why he to go. But it's just like, it's not a year. Like, it's just a couple of months. Then if you stay your ass in the house, stop parking. Never mind. That's why your car. That's why your car. One of the reasons y'all got no money is y'all go out too much, and so you putting all this wear and tear on your car that you can afford. You can't afford to go out and put that wear and tear. Never mind. All right, lock and loaded. This is not the episode. Wrap up section.
Quick recap.
Oh, you got it.
No, I was gonna say quick recap for the fitness section. What are workout modifications and how can you use them in different ways? Workout modifications are the process of adjusting variables to increase or decrease the complexity of the workout. Ultimately, this will change how you perform the movement. You should modify a workout when you're trying something new. Don't feel the exercise working the targeted muscle groups. It has limited range of motion, or you feel pain or discomfort. Okay. And it can be used to increase or decrease the intensity of a workout. Some forms to increase the intensity of the workout include changing the angle of impact, slowing down the motion, increasing or decreasing stability, increasing or decreasing reps or weight. Okay. Wrapping up that fitness section.
All right.
Going on to the finance section.
All right, what's keeping the middle class down? It's these damn car payments. It's always weird when I just went and I go again. But anyway, car payments. It says $700 for a new car on average and $500 for a used car. But again, most people have two vehicles, so it's really closer to $1,000 to $1,400 because they usually have two of these car payments, not just one. We looked at what the average is as far as a mortgage in the United States. The average is a little over $1,400. So if you're in a situation where you stay to these averages from a mortgage standpoint and a new car standpoint for two people, you literally have two mortgage payments. $700 plus $700 is $1,400 for your car, and then your house payment is $1,400. If you want to know if your car payment is egregious, if you add them up and it's close to your mortgage, you got a problem. Also, don't roll over negative equity into a loan. So if your car is worth $10K and it's got a loan on it for $15K, don't roll that $5K negative equity over into a new loan. If your car does unfortunately get totaled out, obviously it's more important that you're okay. But if you're okay from a health standpoint and you end up getting a $20K check from an insurance company and your car has a loan on for $15K, don't go and get you a $25K loan. Get the same car you had, a $15K loan, or even look to get a $10K car. Or pay cash for a $15K car. And now you got, a $5K car, and you pay off your $15K loan. And now that you don't have that minimum payment, that car payment you've been kicking out for these last few years, you can put that to the side to save up to help you transition out of your 5K car into a 10K car. Because if you take these numbers, right, you're paying $500, $700, it's not gonna take you that long to get. You're gonna have $5,000 in less than a year. I mean, five times 12 is 6,000. So it'll take you a year tops to get you to a 10K car. All right, so those things to be wary of when it comes to car payments. Definitely keeps everybody down. Do everything you can to not only do your research for the car that you want, but get out of car debt as fast as possible. Again, that snowball method, it ranks where it ranks as far as how much you have left. But usually for most people, it's going to be right for your student loans. It's going to be after your credit cards, but it's going to be usually your second to last one for most people. But all right, you have anything else?
If you are at this point in the episode and you have not liked, shared, subscribe, comment, rate, review, please do so. We appreciate anybody who is tuning in, watch this episode live. Even if you're not watching live and you're watching this episode, we still want all the smoke. Like, share, subscribe, rate, comment, review, put us in your group chat, send us to your friends. We appreciate you. Check us out on all podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all that good stuff. If there's a place where you can listen to podcasts, type in Cordan Full Effect. You will find us on there. All right. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Jordan.
Yes, sir.
If people want fitness help, what can they do?
You can reach out to me at Stop Stalling J. That's StopStallingJay. Or you can follow my business page at FinallyFit06. That's FINALLFIT06. One of these days, I'm gonna stop spelling this stuff. But until then, you're getting all this information. That's on most social media platforms, okay, including Facebook. Instagram, we trying to get the YouTube back up with the business page. Anyways, you can check us out there, or you can follow us at our website at www.finallyfit.live, where you can pay $60 for a monthly subscription. Actually, there's varying prices for monthly subscriptions, but anyways, $60 is what I'm always going to tell you, because that's our Monday, Wednesday class. That's our immediate to advanced class, because I want you to get the most work, where you get 8 to 10 workouts a week, depending on how many Monday, Wednesdays are available in the month. At 5:30 a.m. You can come see me, see Corey, see some more of the Fit Fam. We work out live, get this sweat in, as well as a monthly check-in where we set your goals, set up milestones so you can meet those goals, get a good solid sweat in, and I help you manage your calories and work towards that fitness goal. All right. Also, access to the virtual drive. Don't forget that we record all our classes live, and they are available later at your use, at your availability. Okay. Corey. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, you still doing it in person?
No. In person has been tabled. Just
okay, I gotta know, because I'd be saying it.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you. Okay, so if you listen and you don't know more in person for I'll remember on Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
And then what about the Tuesday, Thursday?
Yeah, the Tuesday, Thursday is available for the
yeah.
So the Tuesday, Thursday is also available for the beginner classes. That's all I was saying. Go onto the website, y'all. Please check out www.finallyfit.live. It explains it all in there. I've been doing my best to update the website to adjust for what is being offered. But ultimately, the person has been tabled because, as Corey knows, I'll be working like I got like 10 jobs, because I do got like 10 jobs. So I got a full-time or part-time. I'm in a business. You know what I'm saying? So the business, I had to take a step back from the in-person, because the part-time is I got
during the time. I got you. Okay, put it like this. I don't work for Finally Fit. If Jordan tells you whatever, if you come for me and go to Jordan, don't say what Corey said, because I'm not in charge of Finally Fit. Anyways, I make sure I clarify that and make sure I let people know for what Wednesday. But as you're going to transition to, because we got to wrap up, financial coaching, $50 for 1 hour session a month, $100 for up to 1 hour session a week. So 4 to 5, whatever it is. If you want some of this information where I always be like cutting myself off and be like, oh no. Look, so my client, my clients have to have a reason to pay me. Okay, I can't be out here telling everything that I tell them. When they give me money, then I'm telling them everything for give me all for free. So there's got to be a little bit of barrier for that, right? And also too, a lot of y'all just need to sit down. Depending on how much debt you have, but I can get you turned around. I turn a handful of clients out in under a year, complete. Turned everything around, got them on the budget, got them investing, got the life insurance, figure out what they're doing from an investor standpoint. Not a financial advisor or a fiduciary. I give my disclaimers, but it is what it is. Everybody's out here talking that junk on the internet. But I'm just saying, it's going to be, and I tell you how much money you spent and the value you got as well. So I give you a recap, like this is how much money you spent, and it's the progress that you made, and the time in which you did it. And like I said, I don't have to calculate it, but I'm getting close to probably $500,000 in debt, and then I ain't helped 20, all right, whatever. But I'm just saying, a lot of y'all, for those of y'all been watching this from because fitness journey take a while, but from a finance standpoint, if you coming up on being here a day one and you ain't you scared because the student loans about to start back up, and y'all know I'm about to be, when they start back up, I'm be on your head.
Listen.
You need to reach out, okay?
Y'all better lock in. My man's spots is filling up. Like I you know how I know filling up? Because I be sending people. I be sending them. Okay.
Right. Yeah. You're right.
Listen, I ain't about to hold y'all, because finances. So people don't. We'll wrap this up because I know we're running on 2 hours. So finance is a very common topic that comes up. You know what I mean? Especially amongst family, friends. Your close inner circle, or even amongst people. You might be talking about something else, and it always leads to back to how much money you spent on it or whatever. So finances comes up. And being in the position that we in, to be blessed to major in what we in, but also be blessed with the information that we received from Corey, the guidance to be able to spend that money, because again, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. You know what I mean? We were able to pay off some debt, retain some funds, set up our emergency fund. You know what I mean? Invest. So saying all that to say, I know what I've been through, what my finances look like now, and I try to get as many of my friends, family, associates to look like that. So I send my people over. Listen, Corey, let you know, I look, I be calling them like, hey, bro, you got about 10 minutes? Because I set up. So saying that
only if it took 10 minutes.
Listen, it don't, but you know what I mean.
I got you.
Listen, but saying that to say, check him out, because if you don't fill up his spots, I will. All right.
Yeah, there's only 24 hours in a day, and I have to work. I got a 9 to 5 too. So on the Monday through Friday is about and I do my best not to do on Monday through Friday. I do my best to keep everybody on Saturdays and Sundays anyways. But, the demand increases and, but yeah. But, you got to reach out because when these, as I said, I can't wait because the student loan hearing is Tuesday. I hope they don't push it back. I have a heart attack. Regardless, the student loans, remember, if they rule, whatever they rule, but if they rule on Tuesday, your student loans start back up in 60 days. Now, they might not start up immediately in 60 days because your provider still has to let you know when your payments are starting back up. But just as a reminder, the student loans are scheduled to start back up no sooner than 60 days after when the hearing ends. And if the hearing is still going on / ends June 30th, then they'll start no sooner than 60 days after that. Okay, so just be prepared. Yeah, everybody want this forgiveness. But for those of you going to get this forgiveness but still have student loan debt, and they rule Tuesday. Okay, I hope you've been listening when I told you keep making. A lot of y'all could have been in a situation where the student loans could have paid off your debt, like Jordan, his wife is in. If y'all would have just been paying it, never mind.
Listen,
you could.
They don't want that combo. They don't want that combo. They're not ready. They're not ready because you should have been locked. Ultimately, I mean, we keep running.
It don't matter. It's 2 hours. Look, let's keep going.
Ultimately, what you should have been taking that money and putting it on the debt, regardless of what the outcome is for the student loan, right? So you could have been paying it down aggressively throughout the duration. I mean, as Cory has stated before, as all these things have been happening, fluctuating, these extensions keep getting extended even after they have their final extension. You could have had a significant amount of your loan paid off, if not all of it, at this point in time, or at least gotten to the point where you're at the point where you're waiting for the 10,000. The 10,000 mark. Ultimately, you know what I mean. That's where we're at, right? We have the money to pay off the loan in total, but we got it sitting at 10,000. You know what I mean, on the dot because I want my 10,000 paid if I can, if I can get it paid. However, you know what I mean. I got 10,000 in the account in case they come back on the on the 28th and say they tripping. We can't do this. Okay. Either way, I plan on being debt free 60 days, as early as 60 days from February 28th, or as late as 60 days from now, because we ain't gonna wait that long. So but just to capitalize the range, as late as 60 days from, what is it? Is it June 30th? Is that what it is?
Yeah. So I think August 29th, something like that. It'd probably be like the first day in September, technically. I mean, that's a weird day, but yeah.
So sometime in May to August, the end of August.
Yeah, from May to August. Yeah, the beginning of May. So it's technically 60 days from Tuesday is April 29th. Gotcha. So anywhere from April 29th to August 29th, I think they can start back up. Gotcha. 28, something like that. That's on wax. That's what's on wax. And they can keep reneging. Right. All right. They said it's the last time we're pushing it back 2 times. But yeah, that's just something to remember. Because a lot of y'all, I'm just telling you, when they start back up, now you don't got no money. Inflation is high. Try to help y'all out. I
saw a whole man. We ain't gonna go down this rabbit hole. Maybe one day we should just have a whole another episode on student loans. We got so much to talk about. But I saw a whole thread about how this will destroy the economy when they start adding the loans back into people's lives, and it's just like, bro, you had time. Now, mind you, I understand there's been some economic discomfort, some layoffs, people not being able to maintain, support, blah blah blah. I get it, right? Pandemic, I get that type of stuff, right? But ultimately, it didn't take you the whole pandemic to get back on your feet. You know what I mean? Even if it did, you should be get back to the point where you're stabilizing now and be prepared for what is going to happen. Because, at some point they're going to, they never said they were going to turn it off without the intent to turn it back on, which is stupid because, ultimately the problem, history is doomed to repeat itself, right? We already addressed that, right? They're just putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound at this point. You know what I mean? Even with this quote unquote forgiveness, right? Because they never said they were going to stop making the loans. They're just
making the loans, right?
So it's a problem still even after the resolution of this current ongoing situation. However, you should have been prepared. They gave you enough time while they were stuttering in place, right?
We're going on 3 years. Yeah. Do y'all remember when 2020 is? Do y'all know from 2020 to 2023 is 3 years? That's 3 years. You know how long 3 years? You could have went and got a master's. You could have went to school. You could almost got a bachelor's. That's a long time. You could have went and got another high school degree. You could have went through middle school. This is a long time.
Yeah.
This is a very long time. And this is why I understand why a student loan episode went 4 hours. There's just so much. Imagine when you have articles. Imagine I was going through the articles. I'm like, this is just so much information. The last thing is, and I don't know how they're going to restart the student loans when they restart them. But let's just say, when you got your student loans, let's just say your interest rate was 6% and your minimum payment was $500. I'm just saying, for example, and you have $50,000 in student loan debt. Let's say you've been paying it down this whole time and now you got $30,000 left, right, in student loan debt. They might, I don't know what the technical term is, but they might essentially give you a new interest rate / give you a new minimum payment. Like, hey, we're now you actually have $30,000 left. Because when they do the forgiveness, right, drop to $10,000, like they might restart your loan payments lower based off of the fact that you actually have, you know, a 30K left on this balance instead of the 50K. I don't know what they're going to do, but the only way you can take advantage of the situation if you would have been continuously paying down your student loan debt this whole time. Now, as Jordan said, pandemic, right? People at the pandemic, they lost their income. But then when I pulled up these minimum wage numbers, you know what minimum wage is now in Maryland?
60K?
No, minimum wage, not the average.
You talking about hourly? Okay.
Yeah,
I thought we talking about per. Listen, you gotta be specific. I thought we talking about average.
I said minimum wage. I said minimum wage.
Listen. My bad. So it used to be $7, right? So it's probably, I'm gonna say 12.
It's 13.
13. Okay,
I think it's $13.25. That's $26,000. If you work 2 full-time jobs, you make $50K. If you and your spouse don't have no kids, you should make $100K in Maryland. If you don't have, if you don't have any kids, if you have no kids and you're married, your household income in Maryland should be $100,000. They're giving you $26K for working minimum wage 8 hours. Go get you two McDonald's jobs. Go get you McDonald's and Chick-fil-A, McDonald's and Burger King. That's $50K. Hold on, because everybody think I'm lying. We're gonna wrap up. This stuff is just, it just dumbfounds me. Oh crap, I got the wrong thing up. I done messed up. Hold on. I'm gonna get it right, y'all. I got too much stuff. Where's it at? There we go. Minimum wage Maryland.
I was gonna say, when you're looking it up, I was just gonna touch on the fact that we were talking about the repayment situation. So when you based off, you're talking about they could potentially get a whole new payment. It really probably just depends on what, I mean, they might do a whole, they reclassify your loan, but I think it really just depends on how you're paying your loan off. It could be income based, it could be standard, right? So if it's income, all those type of things play a factor in how you pay your loan off.
It's too many factors.
It is.
Look at that. It's $13.25. Let me zoom in. I think I did this another episode. Look at this. In Maryland, now obviously I'm not going to do every state, right? I'm talking about Maryland though, but Maryland is one of the highest cost of living states. It's $13.25. Now y'all can't see the calculator, but $13.25 times 2,080 hours is $27,560 times 2. If you got 2 minimum wage full-time jobs in Maryland, that's $55K a year. Then if you double that, so your spouse can work because you ain't got no kids, that's $110,000. Because remember when I did the student loan episode, they said the people who got the most student loan debt are people who are married with no kids. These are the conversations people don't want to have. And when I ask for the explanation, they just look at me. If you have no kids and you're married and live in Maryland, your income should be $100K. That's what your household income should be gross. I don't care what anybody says, unless you know deductions and stuff like that. But that's what it should be.
No, Corey, because that's too much work. You're telling me I got to work 2 full times. That means I got to work 80 hours.
You ain't got no kids. What you doing?
Listen. Not working 80 hours a week. I'm joking. I'm being facetious because I've done it. But you know what I'm saying? Like
I've had 2 full-time jobs. I'm serious. I had 2 full-time jobs before for 2 months, by the way. But I'm just saying.
We were in college. I had 3. I think it was 3 part-times. 3 part-times. Look, and we still managed to graduate. What? Summa 3.5 or higher. That's all. Listen,
well, how about this? The benefit of working like McDonald's, these type of jobs is they open earlier. Some fast food restaurants, they're open 24/7. So it's not like with your 9 to 5, you only got a 9 to 5 window to clock your 8 hours. You go to McDonald's 5, 6. Some of them 24/7. You can find a way to work that shift in. And on top of that, your 9 to 5 job, what can't you do? You can't work usually Saturday and Sunday. That's 48 hours gone.
Right.
Never mind. You can work on Saturday and Sunday at McDonald's and Burger King. So all right, whatever. At least get to 60 hours. You ain't got no kids. Now, I wouldn't bring this up if the people who had the most student loan debt weren't married with no kids, but that's the case. Which I'm not student loan, by the way. But that's the case. That's the case. Whatever. Everybody's gonna get mad at me. Whatever. Minimum wage is $7.25. So that's $15K. So that's 30 you get to. So it should be $60K. If you have no kids and you're married, it should be $60K minimum. What you doing? I don't care about how much debt I'm talking about your income. It should be $60K minimum. What you doing? I'm gonna stop saying it, but I'm just saying.
I'm gonna stop saying it for Jesus to say it again.
I've already said this before.
I've already said this before.
Now I see people call it like the after hours.
I've already said this before.
The show's obviously older. We're just gonna post it, but it's a very good question. If you have no kids and you're married, what are you doing? If you have no money, what are you doing? Like
amassing a crap ton of debt, apparently. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm talking about your income. Like what are you doing with your time? Like if you Like
They
what
in
is
the
like?
they in the street, bro. They in the clubs. They taking this overpriced car that they driving around, right? And they outside with it. Okay, they don't have a time to get a second job, Corey, because they at the club when they open. All right,
That's a
buying
good point.
premium
They're
drinks.
not
You
working.
see what I'm saying? They not working. You expect
this-
them to work too? Look at how they gonna
and-
show the car off if they got 2 jobs. They can't. What, they gonna drive it to McDonald's and back?
That's a good point. If I'm at
Listen.
work, Corey, how am I drive my car around? You are right about that. It's not going to be driven around. But and this is why I was like, you know, maybe so one of my friends told me, he's like, you should run for politician. I'm like, no, because I'm going to ask these questions to people. Y'all can come up. You know, when you come up, you can speak to your elected officials. Oh,
Right.
You're married with no kids. Okay, minimum wage is $13.25 here in Maryland. Okay, why don't both of you have 2 full-time jobs? Because you have no kids, so this time constraint of kids does not exist for you. What are y'all doing?
The club opens at 8.
I
gotta be in line by 10 to get in for free. So I can catch the drink specials by 11. All right.
And this is where it's like I can just end the conversation there. It's like I know we got people with kids, right? We got other situations, but for the people with no kids, right? And if you're single and not dating, you should definitely be working a lot. What are you doing? You're going on vacation with no money. That's what I'm saying. What they're doing is they're going on vacation, racking up this credit card debt with no money. And I'm like, wait, if you don't got no money, why don't you go get some money if you ain't got no kids? I just got the kids excuse, daycare crap, no doctor's appointments, but you ain't got no kids. I'm gonna keep saying it. Y'all ain't got no kids, so why ain't got no money? I'm gonna have to make that post on Instagram and just ask for the explanation. All right, that's it. Locked and loaded. Jordan will just leave and I'll just keep talking to myself. Now that I got the mic and everything set up together, I'm like, this is clean. I can just keep it. All right, y'all. We did a recap. We'll let you know where to find us again. All of our information is in the show notes on YouTube. Again, if you're not on YouTube, please go over to Cordan in full effect. We are working on saying our advertisements slower, et cetera, et cetera. But Cordan in full effect, the description, at least on a lot of the most recent videos, we'll have all of our links there. Instagram, Jordan's FinallyFit.live, et cetera, et cetera. It's all in the show notes on YouTube. All right, bro. You got anything else besides telling me they going to the
No, look, that's it, man. That's it.
Oh my goodness.
It's no excuse, to be honest with you. It's no excuse.
Hey,
it's the work ethic, bro. People don't have the work ethic to match their lifestyle. And it's like that's a you problem. You know what I mean? See, because we'll talk for another hour. Let's we don't wrap it up. Bro.
Look, the minimum.
That's what you asked me.
I know, right? Yeah, and it's not just me; it be you too. See, you know what I'm saying? I said, you got anything else? Nah, Joe, I want to keep talking about the student loans. This is why we got the permanent banner for the student loans. It's just sitting here. Question mark, exclamation point. I cannot wait till it comes to a head because they start back up and people won't get mad. I'm just saying, minimum wage in Maryland $13.25. They're giving out almost $30K in Maryland at McDonald's if you work full time. End of discussion. And by the way, even if they give you part-time hours at McDonald's, go get. Never mind. If they only giving you a 4-hour shift, just go pick up 3 more. Never mind.
That required them to do math, Corey, and get another job. You want them to do work? I just told you gotta be in the club. Look at that. Never mind that Taco Bell's open to what, 3? You know what I'm saying? Listen.
Yeah, Taco Bell, Cookout, Checkers.
Yeah,
I mean,
listen. No, because that's club time. How dare I go work? You know what I mean? I gotta be at the club because that's why I'm gonna meet my person. You know what I'm saying?
You can work 6 to 2 at McDonald's. That's 8 hours, by the way. You can then work. What is it? 8 to 4, 7 to 3. So 2 to 7. It's 5 hours. You go get your nap. You're good to go.
Yeah, if you max it out though, you really work. I mean, it's 24 hours.
Yeah, you can work a lot.
You can work a lot. You probably work too. I mean, you got to. I mean, you don't have to. You can nap technically, but anyways, you can work a lot of hours.
Yeah. As a side note to end, the reason most people have money, because most people don't inherit it, is because they worked a lot to get it. They just didn't consistently work. They had to generate more income just from the quote unquote normal 9 to 5. I just want to, if y'all didn't know, that's how it is. For those of you who got the $40K in income and $100K in student loan debt, you need to go make some more money. That's the answer to your problems. You can't just keep working your 9 to 5 that's giving you $40K to pay off $100K.
I think it was 80% of millionaires did not inherit money.
It's 80%.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Get off your ass. That's all right. You gotta wrap it up. Let's go.
All right, now we're cussing. That's why.
Let's go. No. Because I remember to say more and say less.
I was gonna say, this is the last thing. What we normally do, y'all, is Jordan and I will just end the stream and then we'll just keep talking like we're doing now. So we just giving y'all the behind the scenes. This is the before and after. Oh my goodness! But all right, y'all. Remember to say more and say less,
and keep making better your best.
And we will catch y'all in the
next one.